Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EAL. We're here for some playoffs matches. I, as always, am Casual QC, and I'm joined by Cookie, aka Your Cookie Only. It's been a while since we've been on cast together, but it's always a pleasure when it can happen. So, hello, and are you looking forward to tonight's games?
I'm so happy to be here. Like as you say, we haven't been casting for a long time, and really happy to be coming together in this playoffs. We have Rassentin and the boys against Tribal. I think it will be a close match. Both teams, from what we researched, they play quite a similar style, and they they have very close games, don't they? When they play each
They
other.
do. Well, I mean, somewhat close, somewhat close. If I believe correctly, Tribal in their previous match against well, we say Ras and Tilly and the boys. There's no Ras tonight. Guys on holiday, so it's just Tilly and the boys. I think yes, Tilly is still here, but it's just Tilly and the boys tonight, which is kind of interesting because in their previous match against Tribal in their match against Ras and Tilly and the boys, they lost with I believe a kill lead and with a 12-1 Kaiser, which if you can get your Kaiser 12 kills and only one death, that suggests these two teams are very evenly matched to a certain extent, right? Despite what the disparity on the scoreboard might say, right? And in both of those games, and in most of Rouse and Tilly in the boys' games, Tilly was a top performer. So with Tilly not here, because he's too busy having a G2, having a bit of a vacation, it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up against each other.
A bit of a G2, an old meme, but it does check out. Still, there are still very good players on RTB.
Of
I
course.
want to especially point out Grey Fox. Grey Fox has been playing really, really solid in the past few games, especially on those AP junglers that he really likes, like the Elise, like the Lilia. In week 7 against Paconometras, Grey Fox absolutely popped off and just finished the game with a scoreline of 11-0-9 on Elise. You can imagine how that game went.
And I mean, obviously, since we're in playoffs, this is do or die for both these teams, right? They're both hoping to make it through to at least the next round, but they are going up against Cosmic Transcendence. And Cosmic Transcendence have been looking really, really strong recently. I mean, maybe we didn't all see, but I certainly saw, and I certainly cast their match against Only Pills. That was a banger of a game. Obviously, they're coming off a big high, coming second, I believe, in Group B. Both these teams are from Group A because we had a spot section unable to compete in the playoffs. So, yeah, we've drafted an extra team from Group A. So it's quite interesting. This is going to be the first playoffs match and maybe the last playoffs match for a while. We see two teams in the same group coming up against each other, and I'm really, really excited to see, if Tribal can get their revenge against RT and the Bees.
Yes, and it's a very good preview against because you say that they will be playing, the winner will be playing against Cosmic Transcendence. So it's a very good BO3 to showcase, well, I guess we say the challenger to the following match.
I mean,
Um,
you say challenger. It's quite funny because they only came second in that group. I mean, they performed exceptionally well, right? Of
mhm.
course, Only Pills just a little bit better on the day, but yeah, I think looking at the strengths of the two groups, I know some people have been. I believe it was Group A. People were critical of the drafting of in the post-match interview at the last time I was on stream. Because I think looking just like generally, right? Obviously, you got some really hard hitters in Group A as well, right? I really don't want to downplay Lost Nation as a strength, right? But Only Pills, Cosmic Transcendence, Element Z all look so good in all of their games, right? It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a little bit put up and shut up, or shut up for Group A here, right? And this is sort of you want to be putting your best foot forward, you want to be sending your best blood in, so that will be decided in this series. It's interesting you mentioned the AP junglers coming out from Grey Fox. I know that was a while back. I should have elaborated on it at the time, but the meta has been, or at least I've been hearing rumbling at the highest level of play. Of course, this could be entirely different for the EA. Not to suggest that EAL is not the highest level of play out there, of course, but I've been hearing rumblings about these AP junglers coming a little bit more into the meta with so many AD mids coming out, even the Theory coming out and just being an absolute menace in this sort of level, even right, like the mid high elo. What do you expect the meta to be shaping up? You can either argue in general or in specific regards to the EAL.
I do think AP junglers, or not all AP junglers, are especially that uh highlighted though. I think one of them will be Evelynn, as
Hmm.
it's a classic for all the mid laners out there who hate Evelynn as much as I do. Evelynn is making a comeback and has been doing quite good in the charts in win rate rise. So I think everyone who plays solo queue will have seen a few more Evelynns in their games. Um,
Hmm.
I think though Evelynn kind of requires a very specific playstyle. So it kind of say, if you haven't prepped this or you haven't played Evelynn before, then you probably can't pull it out of your back pocket. The other one will be Echo. Echo, I haven't seen that much personally, so no personal anecdotes here. But think of mid lane Echo. Can just one shot people in the side lanes, but how about having Echo in the jungle and just trying to delete people, in the ganks with so much damage, so much burst damage, especially after completing Mythic. So I think these two are the more AP junglers that we will be thinking about. But still, the Elise, the Lilia, actually Ivan, if you think of it as an
Oh
AP
gosh,
champion,
like
are also good options, I would say.
I mean, I love me a little bit of Ivan. I think the AL loves its Ivan a little bit as well. Do not blame them one bit. That champion is very, very funny. We're just waiting on a couple of players for Tribal, I believe, to show up in the lobby. They can be here on time. uh, but we should be getting into drafts somewhat shortly. We're just waiting for players to pile in. But yeah, on the topic of picks, I do also kind of want to point to the bot lane a little bit, right? I know. Okay, so we don't have Ross. If Ross was here, it'd be really to talk about. Cause like, oh, he really likes playing the Aphelios. I believe also a little bit of a Caitlyn enjoy. Like, I mean, Aphelios and Blue Gun Aphelios, not Blue Gun, Green Gun Aphelios even, and Caitlyn, somewhat similar champions, right? Having that range advantage, having that sort of lane dominant style. Um, Kitten did get buffed pretty substantially on this most recent patch, cutting down the number of headshots, number of auto attacks required per headshot from 6 to 5, I believe.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it can be a big thing, but you kind of have to play for it. I think
of
it's
course.
65. If I didn't read it wrong, or if I didn't remember it wrong, you do have to play for it. You know, me as a casual player, when I play Caitlyn, I don't really think about like standing in the bush or all that sort of like really nerdy stuff. But these higher level players, they will think about that. But also just to talk about like the most OP or like the most picked champions, I think it's
Mhm.
still the Kaiser, the Ashe, the Ezreal. I think these three are the trifectas at the moment. So I think I would expect to see them rather than the up and coming ones.
Of course, that's fair enough. I mean, we've seen a lot of very good Ashes in the EAL. Arrows flying left, right, and center. I believe actually Tilly on oh no, maybe I'm misremembering. I remember specifically Russ and Tilly and the boys having some really nice arrows coming out from Rustin, who obviously, once again, points irrelevant because he's not here with us today. But it's still, if Orango Tango wants to look towards that Ash, it's something that the rest of Russ and Tilly and the boys are very, very well versed in playing about. Still pretty damn strong. Milio, if it's combined with Milio, it can do a lot of work. Who did get a pretty chunky damage buff on this patch as well, right? I don't think it's enough to force him straight into the meta, but it does mean that Ashe Milio bot lane is even more oppressive than it already is. Um, in terms
Yeah,
of other sports, right, I think there's also Braum. Do you think there's any chance we see Braum Cogmore actually? It's been something that's been rising up. GC has obviously been picking it. Hasn't received any nerfs or buffs, and Braum has been so consistent at the moment.
when I
It's sort
think
of
of
something that
yeah,
intrigues me.
yeah, I think when I think of form, I think of consistency as well.
Hmm.
The like I don't think of the word carry or like game changing. I think Rob is something you pick to kind of neutralize the lane, not necessarily to be really aggressive on. I don't think it's
Hmm.
bad per se, but for example, if I want to pick scaling, I would pick an enchanter rather than Brom. And if I want to play for lane, then I can play something like a Nautilus or something like Leona. So a Brom, I think, is a very tame pick, I would say. It depends on what Tilly wants to do in this game. Does he want to be um, a carry or like a scaling carry or roaming, depending on
Hmm.
what the team wants really.
Yeah, what
Uh,
the team needs. Uh, But yeah, I don't think there's too much to talk about in terms of picks because I don't
Well,
want to. I don't want to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
over
yeah.
myself. I feel like we've kind. I feel like we've said a lot already. That's
Yeah, I think one point that we didn't talk about, because we were talking about AD carries, right?
yes, yes.
Ibonsky is actually, I would say, is the player on Tribal to be thinking about.
Mhm.
Um, Ibonsky, as you were saying, when they were playing against each other, Ibonsky had a very good Kaiser game, secured a lot of kills, a lot of resources. And if you look at like all the games of Tribal, is the consistency is that Ibonsky gets fed somehow. Even
Mhm.
though when they lose a game or when they are losing, Ibonsky somehow gets some kills, managed to put out damage. So especially, I think it was in week 7 where they played against Ghost for Hire. Um, Bonsky was 11-0-9 against on Ezreal on a very much a meta pick. So we want to see Ibonsky pop off, especially for Tribal as a bit of an underdog. I think they wouldn't mind me saying this, but Tribal
Yeah.
just managed to squeeze into the playoff group.
Well,
A
I
bit
mean,
of
they
an
didn't
underdog
make it
here.
to playoffs and then got saved by some sort of
Yeah,
miracle, right?
yeah.
But that's the start of a miracle run if I've ever heard it, right? It's literally a miracle that they got in the first place. But all they need to do is keep on getting lucky, just like that. They are the underdogs, though, right? Even like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here. I think oftentimes when people look at competitive League of Legends, right, like 5v5 League of Legends, they immediately look at the ranks on a team and they'll see a team that's they're like they've got like less ranks total or like even like 10 less ranks total than the enemy team. Like if you add up all the differences together, there's no hope of them winning. I think that's
Hmm.
such a fake way of looking at the game. I think it's really misunderstanding how unique 5v5 League of Legends is, right? And despite the fact I think the tribal here, they are once again also statistically disadvantaged in terms of the rank. I don't think that despite all of these maybe factors against them, I still don't think they're worth counting out. And the best part is, it's a best of 3 series. Even so, even if they lose out on this first game, I can still keep coping as much as I want. But we're going to be getting into draft very, very shortly. I believe we've got both teams very close to being ready. I think just one more thing. Any closing points before we head into the draft?
I think it's for both teams. I think we didn't mention it's just both teams have a similar play style. We talked about it
Mhm.
very early in the stream. Is that they both kind of want to play for their bot lanes because, well, they used to play for Rasen a lot, and obviously Ibonsky was being played for. So I would expect some kind of draft where both teams just rush towards the bot lane and see who kind of dukes it out there. So I kind of want to expect a bloody game, but I think we're going into. Oh, we're not going to draft yet. I got
Well,
baited by the
let's see.
animation.
I'm not naming names, but one of these teams said they were ready and hasn't pushed the button that says "ready up" on it. That's a Dilly and the boy. Sorry. Uh, no, it's just yeah, we're waiting for it. It's like I'm being teased. I'm seeing the team flag ready, unready, ready. I'm like, come on, just get into. I need more League of Legends pumped into my veins, and here we are. We're
And
gonna
here
be
we are.
heading in just a second. It's in it countdown on my screen. I don't know when we're going in on your screen, but it's Ras and Tilly boys on blue, Tribal on red. What will be the first ban? I think it will somewhat set the pace of the series. Jinx taken off the board.
Not really a surprise, given that it's so AD focused. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't like Jinx, if you have bad experience playing against Ibonsky's Jinx, or like you know that Ibonsky likes to layer Jinx, take it off it. It's not a big concern, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, we still think about the trifectas of the AD carries right now, but it ultimately in 5v5 League of Legends, we have to be considerate. Like we have to know, like the strengths of the players and what uniques they have. And for Tribal, they will be banning. Hmm.
Nothing. I think they might they lose a ban. They lose a ban because of their I believe delayed roster or something or other. Udyr taken off the board. I've got a friend who plays a lot of Udyr. She doesn't win a lot on the champion, but that champion I've seen her VODs. That champion can be disgusting in the hands of someone who knows how to pilot it. So taking it off the board makes sense, at least to be as Milia is banned out here for tribal. Taking the tribal little dude off the table, and once again, that's more focused towards these bot lane carries, right? We're less likely to see something like an Ashe Milio now. An Ashe picked up. We don't have like an Aphelios Milio, right? Even though it's not Rasen playing. Um, so I like this Milio ban, sort of more focused towards the spot lane. Final ban here is Jax. If Tribal can pilot that champion, I respect the ban. Like people say there are counts into this champion. I've never seen them really work. just gets so like it's just like a ticking time bomb in the same way that Gwen used to be. So
Hmm.
I like to see that ban as Rengar taken off the board here from Grey Fox.
We might see if I don't want to leak anything. I mean, I don't know anything. I can't leak anything. But will we have a first pick Lissandra? I mean, both teams played a
Oh no,
Lissandra,
don't.
and
Okay.
it
Do
is
you
one of the
mean
meta picks right now.
do you mean first pick Lissandra mid lane or a different
Yes, yes,
position?
it could. First, Lissandra mid lane is perfectly fine, but we will have a Zyra instead. I think Zyra one of the should go to support. Tilly plays a lot of Zyra support, and it is very. I think it's
Annoying. It's very annoying to play against. Is what
annoying.
I was
Yes,
you were going to say. Very lane
yeah,
dominant, right? I mean, you think back to
it's
I think she's
very.
maybe the most lane dominant support out there in terms of like poke pages, right? She's very annoying to play against.
Well, I agree because there's very little counterplay into Zyra plant, just spamming out the range plant and just autoing you with the Comet and the Scorch. We'll have a Zeri picked up by Tribal though. I mean, Zeri pairing with what? So they probably want to pick the support here as well.
They probably should. I mean, they don't. If they're fine blind AD carry, I think they should be fine picking up the support here. I'd like to see. I think there's maybe I know I'm a bit stuck in it. Maybe a world where you can pick Braum here with the Emax. Alistair is gonna get bullied out. There it is. The Braum hover. Alistair. Never mind. Baited. Alistair has some innate lane sustain with their passive at Triumphant Roar, right? But can be vulnerable to getting poked out by these pokey ass bot lanes, as I assume Zyra will be picked with something like maybe even that Caitlyn. But Zyra Alistair, a comp a set of bot laners that get very strong once they hit that level 6 and have that go button. As Ashe is locked in. You talked about how Zyra wants to pepper you down, wants to harass you from range. Ashe is going to be doing the exact same thing. So a very pokey, very, very lane dominant bot lane coming out here from Russ and Tilly and the boys up against mega scaling from Tribal.
Yeah, that's a classic season 2 bot lane here, the Ashe and Zyra. Coming out of like way back to the old times, very old time League of Legends when you see Ashe and Zyra together. I'm actually very surprised of a very early pick Zyra, and now we have the Lilia as well. A lot of magic damage already on Russ and Tilly and the boys. Lilia, one of the signature champions of Grey Fox, not being banned out in first rotation, and will pick it up here. So we know that Grey Fox can play very well on these champions. So
These carry champs, yeah.
yeah.
It's very interesting to me here to see Lilia picked on 3 here. Maybe just scared about it getting banned away, but it does mean she's not going to get her super favorable matchup. I was going to say something like a Kayn
Let's
could
go.
be super well into her, right? Can somewhat match his mobility with her. Sorry, he can match her mobility with the Umbral Trespass, right? And isn't one of these tanks that's just going to get bullied around by the faster clearing Lilia that can't punish this Lilia, right? Because Lilia, once again, is champion that likes to get level 6, get online, a power farming jungler. Kayn is going to be able to match that power farm and continue to be useful, more useful even than an out farm tank jungler heading into this game. I like it. It's super, super spicy.
Yeah, I think it's spicy too, and also the blue Kayn. It's the talk of the the street right now. Everyone is playing the blue Kayn really, really strong in the meta right now.
I mean,
So
look
we've
at the champions that have been picked here for Russ and Tilly and the boys. That
yeah,
is target 1, target 2, and target 3. There needs to be some sort of backbone picked here in the top lane. I think a Poppy could do really, really well. It could be strong into the Alistair Zeri as well. I'd like to see that picked up towards the top lane, perhaps. But yeah, apart from that, if they can't find something that can lock down this Kayn at least a little bit, they are going to get run through by a blue Kayn. So we see the bans
yeah,
coming
and
through here. We
it makes
see
sense the
Syndra
bans as
taking off.
well. So Syndra
Yes,
taken off, obviously, having the
Force of Will.
yeah, the
Is that?
Force of Will, yes,
Yes, yeah.
yes, the Force of Will, and also a lot of tanks being banned because tanks have the CC, have the disruption, doesn't want the disruption to be there for the Kayn or even Zeri when she pops in. So last ban for RTB, what would they think? Ooh, the Talia.
It's interesting to see Malphite and Talia banned off. Talia, I think, has to be a targeted ban towards Tribal, right? Something leaked from scrims, or not leaked, but seen in scrims. Malphite is a bit of reliable engage, can follow up on the Alistair's area, a bit of a safe blind, but it's kind of interesting to see double AP picked up and then being like, yep, we're going to ban Malphite here. But obviously, as a very reliable, very point-and-click champion, wanted to take that ease of execution out of Tribal's hands. Instead, they're going to choose to pick up the Nico in the mid lane, meta as meta can get, something that can get priority for this Kayn, maybe even look for an invade onto the enemy jungle. I don't think there's anything you can pick into Nico that can get the shove against her. And obviously, as the game goes on, Pop Blossoms could be massive in these team fights.
Yes, I agree, Nico. One of the most or best blind picks, I would say, in the meta right now. A lot of surprise factors. Well, it goes well with say your champion. You have the Kayn, the Alistar. They all kind of want to have surprise to find those skirmishes that they want. And Tristana will be picked here. A bit of disengage here, and all. Oh, the Tristana mid, of obviously.
Yes.
Trying to I guess trying to compete with the Nico in terms of
Maybe is
lane
the one
dominance.
champion that can look for the prior in that lane. Maybe the one champion that can. The only sort pushing power with her explosive charge is just unmatched. And especially if Nico looks to roam towards bot lane, for example, help out Alistar and Zeri, then Tristana can do real number on those plates. But then again, it is another squishy target for Kayn to use and abuse. Sion locked in. We expect to see the tank here for Rasmussen Boys. The only thing to note is, one, it's not the Poppy, and two, it's not a champion with fast CC. It's not like a Gragish you're looking at. It's not like a Maokai with point and click CC, which I'm surprised about. It's not going to be able to lock down Kayn in the same way. A Set picked up in the counter matchup. I really, really like this. When you got one tank being able to dunk it onto a backline of squishies, Set can provide so much value in these fights. Looking at these two drafts holistically, I know which one I prefer. What do you think, Cookie?
Well, I think it's a bit too. I would say Ross and Taylor boys have a chance to win, but they have to play very very strategically. They have to be thinking about they have to pick the battlefields really really carefully and have good vision to not get caught out because for tribal it's all about the early ganking pressure, or not the early, but more like the mid game pressure from Kayn, and also the skirmish power of having the surprise factor of Nico, the Alistar combo combined with Zeri coming through really quickly. So I think if RTP can play strategically, they could be able to grind this out, could be able to sell some sieges, especially with Tristana being a really, really good tower destroyer. And just have Sion doing Sion things in the side lane, making sure that a lot of pressure is applied to tribal. That could be worth it. But I know what team you like. I know you like tribal
You can
because
tell. Like,
I already
I
know.
like.
Yeah.
Look, I just want to say I like tribal. I think they've got a very clear way to play out these team fights. Right, ease of execution is something I like to harp on. I think it's maybe a little bit overblown, but it's obviously something you need to consider. Right, Zeri, Alistar, Cade a little bit less, but Zeri, Alistar, Nico Set, these champions have very clearly defined roles in a team fight. What does Zyra do? Right? Who's the reliable engage here from Rust and the Boys? The only real non-committal engage you've got coming out is that Ash Arrow, which, pretty impressive still. Or maybe a bowling ball from Lilia. But it's not like you've not got like a Nautilus, you've not got like a Malphite, you've not got like a Maokai throwing down that Nature's Grasp, right? It's a little bit more difficult to, it's like they've got like a very zony comp as well with Ash, Zyra, Tristana, Lilia a little bit struggles a little bit there, right? But if they can make their way onto these objectives earlier, right, they've got really, really good bush set up. Sion sitting in the bush, charging Q. Ash out of vision with that arrow can do absolute work. I do still favor Tribal's draft it. I think Russ and Tillian both, especially in the bot lane, have to execute incredibly well to make the, justify picking this Zyra here. I think it's sort of black sheep of the draft. But if they
I'll play
can, I think
devil.
they do have plenty of damage.
I will play devil's advocate here. I think tribal can win, but it's kind of like the ball is on the court. They have to do things in order to win. But for Rossington and the boys, if they are able to use their usual mechanics to just say, okay, I have these abilities, I just use them properly to zone out the opponents, get a poke down, Tristana, get some towers destroyed. I think Rossington and the boys have a good advantage. And the second point I want to point out is Set into Sion, yes, is a very, very good counter matchup, but I just don't see Set being very good against the rest of RTB's comp. So imagine, and yes, you can use the ultimate to smash Sion into all the squishes, but RTB can position themselves quite well and not get smashed at the same time, right? If they don't bunch up. So apart from that, Set doesn't do anything in this. Apart from soaking damage, doesn't do really anything. I feel. So I think there is a good chance that RTP can win. I think, but as you say, Tribal does have is if they are able to seize the initiative and make plays, I think tribal team comp is probably an easier way to win.
Well, we're gonna have to see which of these teams is able to seize initiative on the Rift. I think it will all come down to positioning. So many positioning reliant champions in this game in general. Actually, you see Lilia, Zyra, Zeri, Alistair, Set, even Nico to an extent. Right, these champions that really, really punish poor positioning or really, really thrive when the positioning is strong. But I believe we're going to be throwing it to a quick break while we wait for both of these teams to load on to Summer's Rift, because of course we have spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. It's the first match of the best of 3, and that's the best part of it. Despite no matter what happens on the Rift, we've got at least one more game after this one. Don't go anywhere for the first match of the night. Russ and Tilly and the boys up against Team Tribal. Hello everyone, and we are back on Summoner's Rift. So a little bit of scrapping happening there. Didn't quite catch too much else, as I've got a message validating our read on the draft from someone who is as smart as we are, Cookie. So it's like a 55-45 draft. I think it's very, very close to both these teams. Barring any sort of early action, but just as a reminder, it is Ralston, Tilly, and the boys on blue. It's Tribal on red. Both of them playing for this first game in this best of 3.
I think one outcome. Yeah, I think one outcome of the early scrapping is that Russell and the boys managed to put 2 wards into Tribal's jungle. Knowing where the Kayn starts is very important to see, you know, because Kayn has so much like pathing of creativity. Knowing where Kayn starts is so important for RTB to like see what they're gonna do.
It really is. I mean, Kayn pretty vulnerable at this stage of the game, right? Obviously, he gets a little bit more powerful as you go on this. Level 2 hit first for the bot lane of Tribal. Getting a little bit of that poke down. Somewhat surprised to see. But yeah, obviously, you should have a little bit of an easy time at level 6. I really want to see Oranjo, Tango, and skip to Tilly getting this poke down, getting this hard down. Because that's the entire reason you picked this Xayah. No, not Xayah. This Ashe and Xayah. Look, I put the 2 names together, okay? Ashe, Xayah, bot lane is to get that poke down early on.
Yeah, it should
do too much now.
Oh, it should happen soon. Early game, it's the you haven't had points in W for Ashe, you haven't had points in E for Xayah, so it will take some time for those poke to add up. So, not too surprised actually for me, for Zeri Alistar to actually get the early push, but it should. You will see the poke. We will see the poke as a collectively. We will see the poke very soon, but not right now.
Both the junglers opting for a full clear, but full clear in the opposite directions. You see here Grey Fox wanting to try and just secure Scuttle Crab, not look for a fight. Don't think should look for a fight. Is not so reformed, actually putting the hurt down on Wave of Glory in this laning phase. We saw earlier them get that fully charged Q in the bush onto the set. Putting down so much right now, of course, set has Villain Shield, has regeneration pass as well. Should still be fine, but it's not how you expect this thing to go.
The Grey Fox looking for a dive here.
Looking for a dive, Bowling Ball connects. W still available. Flash away from the damage means that Not So Reformed doesn't end up tanking turret. Flash for nothing in the top lane.
Yeah, not a very great start for Set there. The CS department is really hurting for Wave of Glory. Luckily, he still has a teleport, so should be able to restart the lane if he feels it's necessary. But now looks like the health disparity is even, so he'll be staying in lane.
Yeah, looks like it. I mean, having a bit of a difficult time. Not So Reformed going to be able to take the reset. I think should get back to lane without losing too much. Double Ruby Crystal already picked up. So in the mid lane, we see Shago look for these to engage, chunking out with that explosive charge. And that's kind of how it goes in the early the game of Nico versus Tristana, right? Until Nico gets that lost chapter, Wafer is a little bit harder. Yeah, just getting chunked out on those trades. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, way to gain, goes to the engage, forced to flash away from those slowing arrows.
Yeah, bot lane. Forcing on a flash from Alistar is so good. Being able, so that means Grey Fox is able to like pick where he wants to gank next. He can go back to the top lane to revisit the set without a flash, or go for the Alistar later on to the bot lane. The options open for Rastilli and the boys.
Options certainly are open. Yeah, Summer's down across the board. Head of the table has been farming up, but hasn't been able to find any of these gank opportunities. Props to the heads-up play of Grey Fox, obviously having a little bit more agency early on as Lilia, but still not just full clearing on this jungle.
I mean, Arcade has just done a double full clear, which is, but now might be looking bot lane for a bit of cover, trying to get on the Ashe here.
Headbutt Pulverize comes out, forcing out the flash already. Stun will go through still, so now both these bot lanes are down on Summers. It could mean a lot if IWD teams decide to contest an early Dragon. Meanwhile, Wave of Glory, are they going to be able to get this wave crash in before Grey Fox makes their way up? They can't? Oh, they can't. Wave of Glory in a real tough situation here. But instead, it looks like rather than ganking, Grey Fox is just going to go to the mid lane instead.
Yeah, Wave of Glory, I think certainly dodge a bullet here as Grey Fox go to mid lane and trying to catch Azoth or just trying to traverse them out. Oh, the jump comes in.
Jump comes in, charge goes, boom, half the health bar is gone. Azoth somehow still has teleport, which I think is very illegal, ahead on farm as well. But with that teleport, can still look to contest the trade if the fight happens. Looks like instead, the head of the table, Ibonsky and Way to Gain are just going to pick that one up themselves. Once again, getting the push on Orango, Tango, and Tilly in the spot lane, allowing that early objective pickup here for Rival. With Ras and Tilly and the boys not able to answer anywhere on the cross now.
I think instead, Greyfall is looking to do some counter jungling. Going to take a red buff away from head of the table here. Not too big of a gain. Oh, he's probably gonna. Is he gonna donate it to Shago?
He's not. First of all, he's not dying to the drop. I thought that was what you were saying. No, I think he's pulling up Shago in case someone walked up. But Grey Fox should have known they were on the bot side. Did know, was able to steal away that red buff, and now going for a little bit more, getting a little bit greedy with it. But then again, not that greedy, because you're a Lilia. You can take those raptors so damn fast. Way to Gain does spot out fake. Are they going to try and steal it away? Goes to the engage, Smite comes out. Did get about half those raptors. And Azoth with that teleport misses out on that Bramble. Flashball is pop blossom punted away, but not far enough. Azoth asleep, first blood over to Grey Fox. The stun comes through, Way for Glory coming down. But without head of the table here, they went to their Krugs. Still manages to pick up one kill, gets that kill coming out. Shago without the jump, looking for the reset on the explosive charge. Last auto, not quite gonna find it in a whole host of trouble. Autoing, trying to run for their life with a red buff. Slow down will ensure that head of the table gets 2 in return.
So much fighting going on, and at the end of it, head of the table is the biggest winner out here. Able to join the fight at the very last second. Ibonsky in a bit of trouble, not too bad, can still pick up the wave here. But going back to our point, head of the table is just got 2 kills, basically for free, and is able to accelerate his Blue Cade build.
Yeah, just a little bit of an overextension there from Grey Fox and Shago. I thought it was an overextension at first from Azoth there. But, no, it was actually really, really well played. Nice knowing your limits, nice buying so much time. And that was all because Way to Gain had to support one after the fight first. Numbers advanced so far in their favor.
Yeah, it initially didn't look quite well, but at the end, when head of the table came out and cleaned up the kills, all was well. But looks like
that Kane's got dark. That Kane's got dark and get halfway to their transformation just off that fight. That was almost 2 whole kills on their own.
Oh, I think he got a Dirk before joining the fight, so he's got a lot of money in the pocket, I think.
A lot of money in the pocket, and so yeah, he's got the reset. That does. Yeah. More importantly, though, as I said, the transformation has been sped up. Kane not really a champion until they can get that transform. Going to be going for that blue transform. If you're hitting 3 ranged targets, you'll probably get that blue transform. Like, once they do get that transform, they're gonna have their pick of the list on Peter Murray. I think Kane could do some great work here, especially if Stun, man, rooted up. If Bonsky was here, is now no longer a skip to Tilly, making it that Zyra work.
Yeah, very classic ambushed by the Ashe Zara combo there, netting them a kill. And well, basically. Well, it's basically a kill. Nothing much happens on the board, but there might be skirmish going on bot lane.
There's a skirmish coming on in the top side, in the jungle as well. A sleepy Kane has the support, but Tilly gets another kill, making me eat my words about the Zyra pick. And Way to Gain pops the ult, still will fall. Disaster on the bot side of the map as 2 quick kills are picked up from Ras and Tilly and the boys.
Yeah, very well done by RTB. They transform 1 kill into 2 more kills. It's a very good way of accelerating the game. Now they have to just go back home and spend their money. You can see Tilly with the Sorcerer Boots and the Lost Chapter. It's like the dream of like every support when they play AP carries in the bot lane.
More items than the enemy mid laner.
Yeah, exactly. Way for Glory, not too happy about the top lane situation here. Not at all.
Yeah, it's going to be waiting a little bit longer. Dive comes out, stun up once again. The bamboo arms do connect this time. Humble Trespass is available, but head of the table, not quite in range. Tilly hits this way to dive, lands that root. No Stranglethorn just yet, means head of the table will make their way out, but That's not what you want to see on your Kane gang. Still, obviously not got their form as the Hex Fashion bot lane will lead to nothing. It's I do feel like head of the table is the shining spark here for Rival. But
Bonsky.
That's not going to be able to get the split game. Flashing away will not keep them alive unless it's not quite. Orango Tango gets that kill. Grey Fox follows up with a second, and this is why I've really got to question the decision here for Bonsky not to go for cleanse in this fight. Now, of course, if they go for cleanse, the cleanse would have been used in the previous fight, so they wouldn't have it anyway. But you saw how much CC came out, right? You got Sleep to cleanse away, you got Ash Arrow, you've got the blue coming out from Gyro. It seems like a bit of a no-brainer, but instead choosing to opt for that exhaust ends up loss. Now, of course, Kane having form, still unable to contest. And Rasentilli and the boys really running away with this one. 4,000 gold almost in the lead. Drake's even Stevens, but the Herald's still up. And top lane still going pretty well, even with the Zero Killer.
Yeah, everything is going so well for RTP. There's really nothing you can complain about. Maybe the slight concern is that head of the table might be able to do something after the Duskblade completion and the transformation. But overall, you know, Sion is chilling, scaling, Tristana and Ash is about to get their mythic, so not too much to complain about from RTP side.
Not much at all. They've sort of... No, as I said, I'm eating my words a little bit. Tilly and Orango Tango have been able to make this bot lane work, have been able to get this priority, and yeah, been really proactive with their arrow, with their strangleform, getting frankly a legal number of kills, 5 kill participation, and the arrow is just coming up again. I believe looking for an angle onto the bomb. However, Mythic is still in favor. Well, it's not Mythic. Static Shiv is in favor of Ebonsky. I think Orango Tango is going to opt for the Kraken Slayer instead. But yeah, maybe not looking for a fight so they can finish up with Bison and get some parity. Meanwhile, Grey Fox already finished up their Rod of Ages, going to be stacking that one up. Going to be finished around the 21 minute mark-ish. That's actually back to Lilia. With the scaling item, will do absolutely numbers in the fight.
Yeah, I'm very surprised RTP didn't opt to go for the Herald here. A Herald could be quite useful into breaking up the mid lane, but it seems like they prefer to make sure the gold numbers are that they get the most gold out of the jungle camps and the lanes for the moment. Looks like Grey Fox will be taking another base here. Going to already had the Rod of Ages completed, so it will just be extra items that he probably doesn't need.
Mythic has been pushing out over head of the table. Trying to put some heads on the table here, make some heads roll. Has that Duskblade. I think got nerfed this patch, so I'm gonna be feeling a little bad about that one. I think the 30 seconds to the 10 to 30 seconds cooldown now doesn't mean too much, but I do think that less XP damage is somewhat meaningful. Prowlers do get buffer, and a champion like Kane is the perfect champion to use that short cooldown.
Yeah, especially for this game. We'll see how the later skirmishes go. If Kane gets ahead, it might be up to him to carry the game. But we see Harold starting up here.
Flash forward, the stun goes wide, still waiting for Glory. Head of the table gets charged into the wall. Knocked up, not bottom, no connect onto 2. Grey Fox still eeping around despite meanwhile on the bot lane. There's a 2 versus 2 kill. Head of the table, not enough damage. Is gonna try and make their way out, but the rocket jump is there. Shago diving in, picks up that kill, and meanwhile in the bot lane, there's a double kill to Tilly and Orango Tango. It's almost an ace for Rasentilli as the boys, as they are now 10-2 at the 60-minute mark.
Wow, the game really turned so much in RTP's favor. They won the fight in the Herald, got the Herald, and also got a double kill in the bot lane. That means so much for RTP because they can do crazy things now. Trying to probably start to take down some towers either in the mid lane or maybe the top lane.
I mean, it's not that big for those here, right? They're gonna get that turret in the top lane, not even having to put the Herald down. I think breaking open this mid lane, being able to shove out Azov, right? Because maybe one of the ways that Tribal can make their way back into this game is through a flank of Azov hitting top bottom onto 2, right?
Yeah, it could be.
the more you push in though, like I know it's a bit of a stretch, right? I don't necessarily know how much I believe it myself, but you can deny that if you can keep her pinned under turret, can push into the enemy jungle, get his walls down, also help deny head of the table, which, you know, it looked really good for the jungler of Tribal when they got those first couple of early kills, right, in that top 2v2 skirmish, but hasn't been able to do very much with it at all. And I said Kayn would be able to keep pace with Lilia. Look at the farm differences, man. Just 40 CS in the jungle at the 16-minute mark. I think it just snowballed out of control when Head of the Table went to that Drake, died a couple times. It died with their top side up as well on that Herald play. So, yeah, commendable jungling by Grey Fox here. I mean, despite having some of their other champions banned out, having a barn burner in the game. So.
Yeah, I agree. Oh no.
Oh no, Table is here. Arrow connects onto Alistar. The teleport is coming down. Gets the Tilly. The Wishing support has been over, has been taken out. Elendor Tango has got one back though, and there's going to be a
sleeping up has been
flashed away. Zeri over the wall will make their way out. The slam dunk will not come through, and the third kill goes over to Russ and Tilly and the boys.
You really feel for Tribal at this point. They tried so hard into fighting, but just because of the number disparity and the gold disparity, look at this Sion.
This is cruel. This is just mean. He's gonna beat her to death. Flashing away over the wall, does manage to survive. Tango ends up tanking the turret, can't follow. But yeah, it's another summoner spell forced out, another lifeline gone. Mid turret falls as well. It's absolute domination across the map. And we said before the game, we needed to look towards these two bot lanes, right? Both of them are very, very strong. Tilly, pretty notorious as a support, and as we said, Ibonsky had some pretty damn good games against Ras and Tilly and the boys before. But now it's 0-3-1, 0-4-2, plays 6-0-4 and 2-1-6. I think we can say who's come out on top in this one.
Yeah, for sure. It's very hard to see how Tribal comes back from this game. It kind of comes down to whether they can kind of pull it back later on in the later skirmishes. For RTB, it's like they have been trying to get a game accelerated, but also they are doing it at a very leisurely pace. So I think Tribal does have some breathing room. Head of the table still getting stronger and stronger, trying to complete the man immune. So there are chances for Tribal.
There are still chances, but they are also 7k gold in the hole. With the comp that we said might need to be a little bit more explosive. Well, you said, I was wrong. I was coping in draft. They still got game 2, but with the comp that we said might have to be a little bit more explosive in draft, right, with this set pick, with this Kayn pick. Just getting outscaled and outfarmed, well, not outscaled, but just outfarmed in every single role, right? Any sort of win. When it's so hard to come back into the game when the mid laner is taking your Krugs all across the map, you're getting something back. The arrow does go wide, but Head of the Table is going to maybe fall for the Krugs on the other side. Nice heads up play of destroying that blast plant. Not going to beat up the Zyra plants. Ticking down the Liandry gets it. A game of inches is won by Russ and Tilly as the boys. Another kill on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's really sad being a Kayn player, knowing that you can go through walls but just get slowed to a snail by those Ashe arrows, those auto attacks by Ashe. Yeah. Now it looks like RTB is going to just continue to clean up whatever jungle mobs they can find. Now going for the second Herald here.
I don't think they're going for the second Herald. I think they're going for the bigger Herald. They're going for the
that's the Baron.
But there was no second Herald in. They waited for it. I can see why he made that mistake. But no, they're heading for the Baron instead. Spawned up just now. 20-minute Baron, double ADC plus Lilia, plus even the Liandry. This is going to melt, and it does. Taken at 20 second mark. Backing off it, and you can just see the gold difference between these teams. It's a 2.5k in the mid lane, 1.5k in the jungle. It's 2.5k in the top lane, 2.5k in the mid lane still. It's 2k in the jungle, 1k in the bot lane, and a 2k gold lead in support on a support that actually cares about having that gold lead as well, right? It's so difficult, I think, for Tribal to make these fights up, because even if you take out one of the carries, right, you take out the Tristana, you're still facing down 2-item Ashe, a Lilia, and a Zyra that's going to be putting down this DPS. They don't care too much that they have fairly restricted engage options outside the arrow because they're going to be first at every single Drake, right? They're going to have position on every single objective, and eventually Tribal are going to have to fight their way into them, and that's going to not be an easy task at all. Looking for the pick though here. Oh, Blades reach onto 3, but lovely route there coming out from Tilly means that there's no further follow-up. Humble Trespass unable to be cast. Russ and Tilly and the boys make it out by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, important to know that Stranglethorns is now down, so it's a decision for them to whether to continue the siege with the Baron buff.
That's true, that's true. I mean, you have lost out on that Unbreakable Will from Alistair, so you're going to be significant thank you. But one way you made their way back into Flash, Pop Blossom onto 2, and that's what we were talking about. 2 targets instantly blown up. Brave Box, though, with this Conqueror, putting out so much damage. 1 target not quite fully up. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Shaco getting taken out by Wave. Got rid of crits. Inch of health. Humble Trespass comes out on the bot side. So nicely done by the side of Tribal to find that pick, find that flank. And it wasn't such a fantasy after all. Sure, you do end up losing on this top side. You do end up giving a kill over to the Scion as well. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to kill this 2-item Scion. A Ghost coming through, maybe bitten off more that they can chew. Ult comes out. The 3 versus 1 just tickles the Scion, and what looked like a good play for Tribal ends up being thrown down the gutter as they lose out on their top inhibitor turret as well.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Very good mid play there, very decisive, but ends up not being, kind of gets stat checked really. Stat checked by the side in bot lane, stat checked by the Tristana in the top lane.
There's not enough damage, they're like
yeah, exactly. The gold difference really showed there, but very good effort by Tribal, and they still have the fight in them for sure.
They still got that dog in them, even if they are now 12,000 behind. They somehow lost a lot of gold on that play just from taking the turret, sorry. And now it's going to be a soul point Drake picked up here and it spawns. Yeah, it's already been taken down by Rouse and Boys. Chemtech Soul, not that impactful, pretty decent on the Scion as well, not like the other.
Or it's like
But yeah, I think it's just going to be more of a vanity thing at this point. I don't really need to close it out of the game. Maybe just go for an Elder, guarantee their victory, right? Because as we said, Azoth did find a very nice Pop Blossom onto multiple targets, but had to blow the flash. No flash by Orango Tango away from that play as well. It's going to be a lot hard to find those angles as the game goes on.
Yeah, I agree. These opportunities don't come very often. They did capitalize it, but they didn't manage to execute fully in the end, just because gold difference. So I don't really blame them. So
I mean,
it gets harder and harder.
They capitalized on it, but like they also then like went into full lowercase mode when they couldn't put a dent in the Scion, right? Maybe you just had to look for the cross map. Maybe let's try and get a turret inhibitor send 1 to try and clear waves against the Scion. But yeah, I think getting a little bit too hypey after that play ended up getting caught. Meanwhile, speaking of getting caught, 2 hit up with the Blaze Reach, but no Neeko anywhere close enough. Means that everyone walks out just fine.
Yeah, look at how much pressure RTB is putting onto Tribal. Having this split pushes, the Scion and the Tristana silencing.
Oh my god. They're gonna try and kill the Scion now. It's a 4 versus 1. Hasn't really like dealt any damage yet.
Yeah, not even I don't think ult was even needed.
Wailing on him, he didn't take any damage at all. That's so disastrous. Flash forwards, Lightning Crash though picks up a kill onto Tilly. Arrow will disengage, so at least you get a little bit of something. But it's still not dealing with the Scion problem.
Yes, they did take down Tilly though, so that's a good start. But they still have a deal with those pesky silentness. Well, Shaco just chasing Azoth here.
Yeah, you know, try and run and they've taken out with 1 Q from this Lilia, almost takes out. Does force out the clash from Orango Tango. You know what? When you're a caster, you gotta look on the bright side of things, right? That Scion, if he lands into the rest of the team, will deal a whole lot of damage off that settle, right? Now, will they be able to kill the Scion afterwards?
Not necessarily.
Sure. I mean, I'm not too sure.
Not necessarily.
I'm trying to find some sort of silver lining here, man. It's just so dominant from Rustin, Tilly, and the boys, and yeah, just not getting the Zarya ahead enough to be able to... It's something that Comp will end up struggling with, has ended up struggling with, and Yeah, even sending 4 against Not So Reformed, it just seems like a matter of time before they're able to clear out all of the Nexus turrets, or all the inhibitor turrets, get super minions piling onto those Nexus turrets, and allow Russ and Tilly and the boys to do whatever they want around the map.
Yeah, Tilly and the boys are playing a very slow, suffocating game, taking all the jungle monsters with a lot of pressure on the side lanes.
He just
And also
doesn't care, man.
Reformed.
He doesn't give a damn. Even against
Only-
Nico, it hasn't itemized any
yeah.
magic resist.
Only
Shrugs it
taking,
off pretty effectively.
only taking 20% damage really from all of that, which is quite disgusting.
We see here, by the way, Shego on the split push once again, forcing Azoth down. We've seen Azoth losing out in that 1 versus 1 though. Meanwhile, the rest of the team just going to start up on this Baron. Teleport available for both side laners, so we'll be able to make their way if they're given the opportunity. Vision being cleared out. I don't know if they know. Hawkshot providing a lot of value here. Stun, Snowball connects on to Zeri, stunned up before the fight even starts. Wave of Glory though blows up the jungler. Smite doesn't go down, instead it's Not So Reformed securing it. Ibonsky is blown up and that's all of your damage gone. The pick was good, but just a little too much overextension as Not So Reformed saves the play, gets the Baron, gets another kill on the backside, and I think is going to get Ras and Tilly and the boys the game right here.
Yeah, that looks like game for Razantilli and the boys. Very good effort by them trying to contest the Baron, but
Hey,
now
they built the jungler. That's almost
yeah, they
stealing it.
did get a jungle, so that's halfway to stealing it. But at the very end, Razantilli and the boys won the fight, and then just group up to the mid lane, just get the minions in, and we'll be. Ooh, Tilly's dying here.
One more for the road. That's all it's going to be. Azoth gets a little bit never on the back, but in the 22-9 absolute blitz. Russ and Tilly and the boys will this 22 excuse myself. Russ and Tilly and the boys will be able to close this one out. Reminder, it's still a best of 3 series. There's still a way Tribal could come back, but what a monster performance from Russ and Tilly and the boys. Despite losing out on that early play, they just went from strength to strength to strength.
Yes, I think afterwards, I think in the laning phase, there's some 2v2s going on, there's some cash plays going on. Individual, in the laning wise, there's some, I think Russ and Tilly boys did very good in laning. So a lot of those early advantages kind of like compounded on each other, and they were able to close the game. So very well done to RTB.
I should have known from the moment that Sion was getting bullied, well, it was bullying out the set. From the moment they got that level 1 fully charged Q in his head, right? It's just a bit of a skill difference in the top lane, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think it's a matchup thing. Doesn't know the matchup well enough, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe just took the counter pick thinking, oh, I'm going to go on u.gg and look what the top counter for Sion. Oh, it's a bit of a known matchup as well, right? I was fooled by it. But yeah, not knowing the matchup ends up getting punished. But we're going to go to a quick break before we get back here for game 2. Don't go anywhere. It's the last chance here for Tribal. Russ and Tilly and the boys looking to try and secure their matchup up against Cosmic Transcendence in the second game of tonight. We're going on a quick break. We'll catch you in just a little bit.
See you.
Hello, everyone, and we are back for game 2 of the Ras and Tilly and the Boys coming up against Tribal. And it looks like Tribal have opted for blue side heading into the second game of the series.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. They do need some kind of change. So having blue side allows you to just have your first pick, your power pick ready. So I think that's
Yeah.
a good change by Tribal.
And we won't talk about what happened to their red side counter pick in that last. I think it's best left in the past with the top side. So yeah, adaptions. I'd like them to not pick Set into tank. I mean, obviously, Set, like we can clearly see just the mastery of Rasentilli and the boys top laner, not so reformed on this champion, right? Maybe you just got to play scaling into scaling. Did ban out the Ornn, I believe. Maybe you have to just go for the sign for the Ornn
Yes,
handshake if you're just getting slapped around in that lane.
I think it's weird how we're talking about how to deal with Sion. I think there are like a range of picks you can go into Sion. There are perfectly playable handshake legs if you want to play scaling. You don't have to play a tank. You can play something like Gangplank. You can play if you want to venture into a bit more bruiser matchup. Camille Fiora are very good lane counters, which allow you to scale into a side lane menace as well. So there's a lot of choice here, I would say. So I wouldn't worry too much about Wave of Glory. He'll be able to find another pick that he will do well into the top
He'll be
lane.
able to find the pick because we're heading into draft right now. In terms of bans, maybe just look to ban out tanks. Decent amount of attention being paid towards the bot lane here as choosing to take the Rengar away from Grey Fox. Still had a brilliant game on the other furry champion in Lilia, so if they're even better on the Rengar, I can understand taking that off the board still. It's maybe on the adaptations you could go into the second game trying to take it. They are going to have one more ban, so maybe they'll have a little bit more flexibility. Jinx banned out here by Russ and the boys. Milio taken off the board. I mean, if you saw how good Zyra Ashe is, I can't imagine Ashe Milio.
Yeah, I think Tribal is probably sticking with their prep for now. I don't really blame them. Last game was a bit of an execution difference, so I think what they prep for is fine, and they ban out the Sion in the as well. So that's good, a good change.
If you can't beat him, ban him. I think that makes sense. Yeah, Sion just able to put in so much work. Now, of course, there are still champions like Malphite, champions like Ornn or Maokai even, which I'm surprised we didn't see in top lane. Or in jungle. They can do that job pretty similarly, but first pick
Oh no,
Malphite
that's
here for Tribal.
no.
Hey, it was banned out second phase, right? Maybe they got something cooking up. Maybe it's a flex. Who knows?
There's
But
no way.
Malphite locked in.
It's I am disappointed for one.
Hey, look, if the enemy's gonna handshake Ornn into it, it's perfectly fine to pick this Malphite. Okay.
I mean, yes, you call a handshake. On actually has a very good matchup into Malphite.
Oh,
Like
really?
lane wise, yeah, he does.
Just because, oh, of course, the Breath of Proc is going to be very
Yeah,
miserable. I
bro,
can't
bro,
imagine
for
Malphite.
you win all the trades basically. Um, but yeah, I guess I don't have anything to say about that. I just think Malphite first picks is really troll. Zyra is coming up for RTB as well. They did so well with it, so they're probably gonna run with it again. I would expect the Ashe again as well. So Tribal had to think about a bot lane response here.
Yeah, they at least they know what's coming now, right? They can pick away the Ashe themselves. That's one way to respond. And I do like the Braun pick. Braun's seen. Oh, great! I'm so glad they picked it because I can go on a bit of a tangent now. Braun may be seen as a little bit difficult to play into these ranged poke lanes, or at least was seen as that until about a month ago when the new tech was discovered of Emax Braum. Actually gives you an opportunity to play into these pokey lanes. You have so much damage reduction on that shield. It's a lot harder to poke out because the cooldown's so low as well. So Ashe Braum, I think, actually a pretty strong slam here. We did see there was a little bit of lack of damage on the Tribals team last time, so I'd like to see something more damaging than Nico maybe picked up in the mid lane, as Misfortune is the lock in here for Russ and Tilly and the boys.
I don't like this Misfortune pick here. I mean, first of all, Braum has a shield, right? So you can always shield the Ornn for the Horn thing, and you can also block the Misfortune ultimate as well. So there's a lot of things Braum can be blocking, and also Malphite can just ult you if you try to find a position to ult. So I don't see how Misfortune's good here, but they will have to prove me wrong.
Well, it's an iconic lane. As a ban
It is iconic.
It's a Nico. It's a Nico ban. Obviously, it's like she's just disguised as the other. It is a Nico
This
ban.
disguised as the unknown.
I do want to say that Zyra Misfortune is a classic bot lane from you talk about back in the day. Ashe Zyra, Misfortune Zyra, two defining characters of Worlds season 6 or season 5, I want to say, and really really impressive in the same way that Ashe Zyra can be. As Tristana taking off the board as well, we saw just how impactful Shago was in that champion, both in the mid lane, having a good time against Azoth, and also on the side lanes, right, putting on the constant pressure opposite side from the Scion. As Lee Sin define the ban here for us and Tilly and the boys, Ivan taken off the board as well. What would a pick be?
Jarvan.
You know what would be a
Jarvan,
really good pick this game?
Yeah. What would it be?
Well, it's a little Yordle champion, right?
A little Yordle champion.
A little Yordle, called Poppy. I mean, it does. It maybe need a little bit more damage. I think Poppy is really good into Jarvan, pretty good into Misfortune as well. She's got standstill to channel her ultimate. Pretty good into the Ornn. Can deny that second charge of the Horn coming out, which obviously Braum also does somewhat deny as well. But is split a little bit in their duties because it's somewhat hard to shield both parts of the Ornn. Of Ornn and Misfortune, right? And there it is. There's the Poppy locked in. Someone is watching the cast. Now, I really need to see some more damage picked up here for Tribal if they're going to make this Poppy Ashe shine, because their comp is still pretty low on damage. You're not going to be shredding through an Ornn, and the pick is
There's no way, right?
Malzahar?
No way.
Can't be. Can't
He has to be trolling me.
Sorry.
I can see why, but I don't like it. Nothing will change.
I mean, it's pretty safe into the Jarvan, right? But it's not the damage, the DPS you're really looking for. You've got to go for that, like, Liandry. If I see an Everfrost built by Azoth on Tribal in this game, I'm going to be severely disappointed because someone needs to kill this one. And it needs probably two people need to kill this one. It needs to be Ashe and Ahri going full tank shredded. Syndra is the final pickup here for Russ and Celine boys. It needs to be a full damage Ahri. It needs to be a full damage Ashe here, or this Ornn is not dying on the side lane.
Yes. I wouldn't worry too much because Ornn is more. It's like out of all the tanks, Ornn is like less tanky. He's more of an engager, I would say. The only thing is is always in my mind is I don't know why RTBs keep making Tribal's comp look good. It's just like they keep picking things that make it look good. So they first pick the Malphite, and then you pick the Misfortune's perfect target for Malphite. And then you pick the Ornn and Misfortune into the Braum, and then you pick Jarvan is fine actually, but you pick the Syndra into Ahri, but Ahri typically lays better in mid lane anyway. So I don't know. I am very confused for one. Like you try to counter yourself, feel like, but I think RTB they must have their knowledge in the team comp, so I wouldn't worry too much. It might be just my own bias.
Yeah, a little bit of mobile team comp versus an Ashe, Poppy, Ahri, Malphite is not usually what you want to see. But still, I do think there's a lot of damage. If they can just crush bot lane like they did in the last game against a bot lane that's maybe even easier to crush, Raz and Tilly and the boys could still be set up for success. And of course, Ornn a little bit less tanky, but still hella tanky, right? Tanky, assassin, mage, whatever. We all know the copy faster. It's going to be on Tribal to make good use of the tools that they have, right? And not let this game get too late so they cannot shred through Jarvan and Ornn. But we're going to have to see if they're able to do that in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be going to a quick break while we wait for Summoner's Rift to load up in the background, spectator delay and all that. Don't go anywhere. As I said, Tribal with this composition, fighting for their lives in playoffs. Ross and Tilly and the boys are going to slam dunk their ticket to Cosmic Transcendence. We're going to a break. Don't go anywhere. Hello everyone and welcome on to the Rift for the second game of the night. Tribal are on blue, down a game in this best of 3, needing to pull off the 2-0 in the next 2 matches to make their way onto Cosmic Transcendence. Whereas Rasen, Tilly and the boys, minus Rasen, are looking to punch that ticket for themselves. But with this level 1 play here coming out from Tribal, they're trying to make something happen early on. But they won't find anything.
Yeah, one of the classic going from bot lane ways to get the ward down. Oh, managed to take out the ward placed by Tilly as well.
Yeah, placed by Tilly. Doesn't get the second one, unfortunately, so there's going to be no possibility of a jungle camp steal. We'll get some vision down, though. Still, I don't think going to be able to spot out... Oh, no, they have a ward. They have a second ward. We'll be able to spot out Grey Fox's pathing no matter what they choose to do. So, nice information gathering there. Trying to shut down the...
Yeah, early game, speaking of early game, is very important for Tribal because Ahri is one of those mid lane picks that's really good at the early game because Ahri clears wave a lot faster than other mages because being able to damage all the creeps with one spell is like a very precious ability for mid laners. So I would expect Head of the Table to try something more unconventional, a bit invading, a bit trying to run around the map to find the Grey Fox, maybe.
This is what I live for League of Legends for, by the way. Just 2 tanks beating the hell out of each other. Not level 2 yet, so Ornn doesn't win these trades yet. Gets an extra grasp proc off as well. Wait for Glory once again suffering in this early game. Damn, not so Ornn's good in these tanks.
Yeah. I'm not too sure why he opted for that fight. Starting with a Doran's Ring, don't really want to do that.
W, man. If you're gonna fight, at least start with W.
Yeah, unfortunate start for Wave Glory, but probably not too. Oh, level 2 first for Tilly and Orangutango, getting control of the bot lane.
Yep, Misfortune, very strong at level 1 with that double tap. It dealing 1.5 times your AD, or like 1.3 even times your AD on a normal attack is pretty good. However, Head on the table looking to make a bit of a different play than their last time. Flash forwards, dodging the stun. Tilly trying to ward their way out, but the slows coming through. The ghost is through. Orangutango flashing away to avoid getting stunned up as well. But first blood going over to Tribal.
Yeah, I really like Head of the Table doing that. Just clearing the 3 camps in the bot lane and just go straight to bot lane. Perfect way of playing Poppy, abusing the early power of Poppy.
Yeah, the stun is very strong. As you see here, Grey Fox going for a 5 camp clear into potentially an invade. Actually, Head of the Table wanting to scrap some more. I think he wins this 2v2. Poppy can't connect from Azov. Damage is there. Head of the Table dropped very low. Tilly is here to support. Dodging out on that Dark Spear. Head of the Table will make their way out.
Yeah, he makes it so easy doing that last dodge there. Even though it's Red Telegraph, the Syndra Dark Spear is actually quite a big hitbox. Able to dodge that is such a big win for Tribal.
Yeah, certainly is. Not dying is pretty important, I find, in League of Legends. So
yeah.
Can we not look at top lane? This is just depressing to watch if you're a fan of Flash
Actually flashing for that, yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Not much mana left on Not So Horn, but like the second they can buy an item up in the same way, the blow is going to be even more miserable. Down 10 CS, of course the wave is crashing, we'll be able to pick up some there. But yeah, a bit of a... Not even crashing, no, actually it's pushing the other way. Waves of Glory in a hell of a sticky situation.
Yeah, we'll need Head of a Table here to rescue him, and he will be there, but a bit late.
No level 6, we're just going to have to blow that flash. Azov does. Doesn't hold it. Ends up making it out of that gank. You know, nice stun by Grey Fox to get that flash out, but on a champion like Ahri, it's a little bit less important than something like the mobile mage.
Poppy is doing Poppy things. Just trolling around with 13 CS, doesn't really care.
Student of the School of Narang, yes.
Yeah, early CS, who cares about it?
Who cares about gold leads in the jungle? It does mean that the gold is almost even, despite the kill going over to the bot lane for Tribal. right? It's a pretty significant jungle league. It's like Jarvan has already lapped Poppy in the jungle, effectively. Because there are 3 camps that Poppy has. Like, both these players have all of their camps respawning, and Poppy is 3 camps behind. That's hilarious to see, actually.
Yeah, that's Poppy for you. Poppy should be doing these things, and I do agree with his playstyle. I want to see a bit more of roaming from Azoth, though, especially when playing Ahri into Syndra. Should have a good way of clearing the way. If we're going back to looking at top lane, it might be a solo kill.
Yeah. Level 6 is available, the Horn comes down, so it's going to use teleport. Also Brittle coming out, no headbutt. Not going to quite kill Way for Glory, but suddenly getting a nice trade down. Of course, has to get, oh my god, looking for the kill, but level 6 has come through for Way for Glory, not fast enough on the trigger finger, means not so reformed, won't be tanking up the turret and will make their way out.
Yeah, close call for not to reform. Could have died to the turret there.
Forced off that massive wave. One brittle shock from Not So Reformed would take out Way for Glory. It's getting proxied by Not So Reformed, man. That's just disgusting to see. This is. I thought you said Malphite 1 trades versus Ornn. I mean, it's clearly a bit of a player issue here, but
Oh no. Autumn win trades against.
Also, Ornn wins trades versus Malphite. You're right. Oh my god, the immune on the knockup, so clean by Not So Reformed. And I can see exactly what you mean. It's a massive dodge of that ultimate. Very well played. I think holding on to it actually as the sun comes out. Grey Fox though, Chunk very low force to flash away from the scrap. Early power of Ahri and Ashe gonna force that spell out. But yeah, I think Not So Reformed was holding that the entire time, anticipating that old steel in his veins, ends up getting the kill versus Rook.
That's a bit of a top lane. It's like we're looking at 2 different games here. One is a top lane, like 1v1 playing against each other, and the rest of the map where now Tribal actually getting the dragon after a very good skirmish. So things are not going too bad for Tribal, really. Yes, top lane you are losing a little bit, and Ornn is actually building Cull, which is hilarious. But yeah, not too bad, I would say. If we just don't look at top lane.
Yeah, not too bad at all if you don't look at top lane. Pretty good if you're a fan of Russian Civilian Boys looking at that top lane, right? Of course, I want to see it go to a 5-game series, but with this tank play so impressively up on the top side, you can't be too mad. Way for Glory just getting whacked around, man. It's disgusting. I don't like it.
There's not much he can do now except for just to make sure he gets more well, any CS that he can get. Not much he can do now. The item difference is a bit too big right now.
You know what? If there was any champion on the enemy team, if I am Way for Glory or anyone else on Tribal, if there's anyone on Ras and Tilly and the boys that I would want to have a real large gold lead, it would probably be the Ornn rather than anyone else. At least there's that small creature comfort, but still not good to be giving a gold lead to anyone, of course.
Yeah, true. Ooh, Ashe Arrow coming through.
Arrow did connect on to Shago. Azoth with the mischarm, but it doesn't matter. The auto not going to be enough. Headed to table. Actually, it might matter. Missing out on that charm, not enough damage means that Shago is going to be able to limp away with that flash so close and yet so far as well.
Yeah, so close as so far. Very unfortunate for Tribal. They're doing the place right. It's just lack just a bit of damage. Really unfortunate for them. But on a bigger scale, it probably doesn't matter too much because Poppy can come back and try to put more pressure. So there will be a kill somehow later on, I would think.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. It's obviously still about abusing that flash advantage. It's so difficult to lane into Ahri without that flash. You're gonna get ulted on top of your face, get a charm on top of you, and end up falling for it. So yeah, not that big of a deal. Another kill to go. Meanwhile, something I do want to point out is Orango Tango opting for this lethality build on Mist Fortune. Duskblade, bit of an iconic item at the moment. Will mean you're doing a little bit less DPS than Kraken's, but you don't really want to be in range to auto-attack into the comp coming out from Tribal, right? You'd much rather sit back, fire off your ults, fire off your double ups from that relative safe distance. So I respect the build. But yeah, gonna be doing a little bit less damage. Needs somebody else to outfight. Meanwhile, ulti Flawless can't connect, and this is the punishment we're talking about. No more charge for Azov, tries to ult away. Shago under the turret, the shield, not enough, but the Foxfire will be. Azov takes up that kill for himself.
Yeah, nearly not enough again. We can talk about like the damage problem here. Never mind, Grey Fox in a bit trouble.
Charm once again goes wide, they engage, the burst, Azoth is sent to the Shadow Realm. Meanwhile, in the top side, Not So Reformed gets another solo kill. Thank you for not showing that one auto observe, because I think that's just illegal what happened up there. But lovely, lovely punch back from Rasentilli and the boys.
Yes, absolutely. Grey Fox showing up and well, in a 1v2 situation getting kill, and also Not So Reformed getting a kill as well. So things are looking good for us until in the boys. Goldie is around 1.5k now. Actually 1.8k.
1.8k. Look at how much that is in the top lane, right? It's almost the entire gold lead on that top lane at the moment. I think we're gonna see another moment like we had in the previous game. 5 people hitting onto Not So Reformed and not even able to put a dent in. Right, and a little bit less tank inside, getting a little bit less that close stuff. But remember, Ornn still does get that percentage armor, magic resist, and health bonus on top for every mythically upgrades with the level advantage that he's accumulated. As the arrow goes wide in the mid lane, charge not there, head to the table, walking back. Nice try by Ebonski once again, but this time it goes wide.
Yeah, I really like the ideas from head of the table, trying to get those ganks over the mid lane. Could also do that in bot lane as well, if mid lane doesn't work out. So I would say, even though Grey Fox has a CS lead, still I think head of the table is doing a lot more for their team. Just have to see if he can translate that into like an actual lead, because a bit of a gold problem here for a gold deficit here for Tribal.
Certainly is. So, Tribal, I still think has a lot of pick tools in the comp, right? Team fights are going to be a little bit more difficult to fight against sort of Ornn, Misfortune, Zyra, right? But you do have tools to set this arrow, as you've seen spam or cooldown by Ebonski. Still, put in a whole heap of work, but yeah, it's looking a little bit tough. Certainly looking a little bit tough. Grey Fox looking to collapse in this bot lane as well, which have reset. No Herald picked up once again. Very interesting. Oh, no Herald did get picked up. What am I talking about? I'm dazed. I'm confused. But yeah, I was waiting for the Herald respawn coming through. Instead, gonna move towards this dragon.
Yeah, we'll see if Tribal decides to try to contest this at all. It probably isn't a bad try. Asher is coming up very soon, so they could do something like Poppy ejection into some play.
Stun, ejection out of the jungler. Charm predict on the flash by Azov. Tilly is taken down, but here's Not So Reformed. The Ornn with the gold. Dragon has been picked up, but at what cost? Grey Fox goes in. Flash out Ebonski with that space gliding. Azov hunting down Orango Tango. The Rift will not troll them, but with Ebonski getting back that answer kill, it's a 1 for 2. Actually 2 for 2, I guess, in the end. For both these teams, but Dragon does go over to Tribal, setting up that soul stacking win condition, soul point in the next one.
Yeah, overall, they did lose one more member than Rasentilli in the boys, but I think given that they got the dragon, isn't too bad. Oh, actually, it's probably a 2 for 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2. Because Orango Tango did fall as well in the fight. That's not a horrible result for Tribal at all, I would say.
They do need to be stacking up the straight. They do need to continue winning fights around these dragons and getting that pretty good soul here in form of that Infernal Soul, right? The burst can be very helpful. Ashe really likes having it. Ari really likes having it, right? A lot of the squishy targets. It's not going to help that much into the Ornn, to be fair. As we're seeing, I think that's the Leandrius coming out from Azov, just as I wanted. Thank you for watching the stream. So maybe there is a chance you can choose through this Ornn as well, but now Not So Reformed is 3-0 and 1 after that fight. Massively accelerated in terms of gold lead, and yeah, just it's an item and a half versus just components. But now gank happening in the bot lane. War for Glory says, screw that top lane, I'm not going back here, I'm gonna go kill the enemy AD carry, and they do. They get a second one onto Ebonski as well, Ash 2, 0, and 3, finishing up that Kraken Slayer. Going to go for the Rage Blade as well next, I guess. But on the other side of that, you do lose out on that first turret in the top lane.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
Unlucky.
Unlucky there. On having such a big lead, it's not a problem on its own, but like if it gets to say level 15, 16, where On can get those items, upgrades for the teammates, then it's just free gold for On because he has such a big experience lead in the top lane.
It is experience seed. On going to be getting to that point where they can upgrade their team's items as well. XP is really, really valuable on the On, right? Level 11.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to say.
Oh, that's sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out of it. You're right. You're correct. And I'm just.
No, don't worry. We are trying to gang up on this On now to remedy the situation.
Yeah, knock up. That's the mage for you, baby. Trying to 3 versus 1. Azos will be able to walk their way out on this. Or not quite tanking off yet. Will flash over the wall, and no flashes followed, despite Glory and the head of the table having them. Means it's going to be able to retreat his way down towards this mid lane. Grey Fox skipped to Tilly in the area, knocked back, taken down, 650 gold shut down. The movement not quite there, but the arrow is true. Slowed up, stunned up, double kill over to head of the table. Flash away by Greyhound, stunned up, going to get taken down. Grey Fox no longer Ibonsky on a killing spree. 3, 0, and 4.
Absolutely massive. Oh my goodness gracious, that Shago.
It's keeping on going, man. Shago is going to be Shay gone unless they can land that force of will. Manage to get the kill onto Poppy as well. Overcommittal on the dive is punished.
Yeah, I mean, we were overhyped for this unstoppable force play on Shago, but Shago doing so well this game despite.
Nice
oh my god!
Stun. The ultimate comes out. Shutdown to Shago does get bapped in response, but Way for Glory ends up falling as well on what was originally a really good play, I think, for the tribal lineup. Just ends up with 3 people dying for no reason in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think this game Shago has played so well, laning so well against Azoth, being able to get such a big CS lead, and also keeping himself really safe in those fights despite all the chaos happening around, and despite being repeatedly ganked. So what can you ask for as a mid laner really? And Syndra does scale really well as well, after the rework. So will be a very much a key player in the later fights for Rasmussen and the boys.
Yeah, certainly will be. And also in these late game team fights, it's going to be such a... I'm joking. I'm also listening that time. I promise. We do see, however, Rasmussen and the boys taking it for this. Herald, gold lead still in their favor now after that catastrophic misplay in the mid lane. We don't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, a little bit of and that's maybe something Tribal need to work on if they can't make it to next season. I don't want to count them out of the game yet. They are still on Dragon Soul point, but it just seems like they are uncoordinated sometimes in their plays. Having a little bit more restraint, having a little bit more control could go a long way for them as the arrow goes wide in the bot lane.
I think Tribal still have a very good chance of winning this game. They're a lot more proactive than the counterparts than the boys.
Oh,
they have this first and this Herald though.
Yes, Herald's going to do absolute bits. It's hard to win a game when you've got an inhibitor down, 20 minutes, Adol on the flank. Everbot coming in, Charge will come through, knock up, Poppycopter misses, probably for the best. Skippy is, Tilly takes him down, Ibonsky still free hitting on Ash. Oh my god, it's a slaughter.
Look at Ibonsky doing so much work, and that Herald was not a bad put down, but if you want to commit to it, you have to bring in numbers. Shago wasn't in that fight, so the number advantage means that they will secure the soul point, which is an Infernal Soul as well.
Yeah, a massive flash out of their fight with Bonsky. You can see why this guy carries lots of games in for right?
Yeah,
it was kind of my fault for casting that. I feel like maybe if not so Revolver teleported in just that couple of seconds earlier, as you mentioned, or Shago as well, right? Because they TP'd in the middle of the fight. It was a bit of like it was more like a 3v2 and then a 3v2. Oh, sorry, 3v5 and then a 3v5, right? Rather than possible 5-on-5 where this composition shines. And yeah, they end up losing soul point for it as well. Gold lead still in their favor. But
oh no, Tilly.
That's a charm. That's a stun. That's a shut down plant. I'm so glad we panned away from it. It would have been a bit of a, well, not animal cruelty, plant cruelty if we had to watch that one. Jeez.
Damn. That was a lot of gold just being given to Tribal despite being in a gold deficit. Like you can see a lot of kill. I think it's all down to the top lane gold difference. So if we discount that in other skirmishes, just look at how much damage Azul is bringing into Orangutango.
Auto attacks coming through, the second ult charge. It's a mutual obliteration. Mid laner, ADC blow each other up. That was such a nothing fight as well. Like, it was fight.
It is nothing fight, yeah.
Hell yeah, that's League of Legends game. But this isn't a nothing fight. Let's fight for a turret. There's finally the steadfast presence and locked out Grey Fox on this engage. And I love that the pick I said would do well, does well. Gets the kill onto Shago, secures the kill onto Grey Fox as well. And now perhaps Tribal are looking to take down the big purple one.
Ooh, they might have to get through the on first though. A very tanky on is very annoying when you're trying to take the purple worm.
Yeah. Maybe not. But those two picks are still pretty damn useful.
Yeah, still very useful. Again, more gold in the pockets. I'm not sure what more gold does for Poppy. Because he's just building defensive items now. Still, I'm glad he went for the oh my god, the Sheen item. My brain is blanked.
Frozen Fist.
Not the Frozen Fist. Not the Iceman Gauntlet. He went for the Sundra.
Sundra. Oh, Sundra.
Yeah.
Right,
A bit more damage there, and also, I guess it does help with the killing the own mission at some point.
I mean, vaguely. It has been nerfed pretty significantly, right?
Yeah, it does.
Chances wide, very close. It does help out a little bit though. I mean, Ash goes for one thing. I like it. No Triforce, Rage Blade needed. Sorry,
yeah.
Tanks fight each other again. So, it's just like a lot of very inconsequential, funny colors on my screen. And I quite like that. Yeah,
a lot of particles like bouncing around at like, the Jack show and all that.
It's like Coco Melon League of Legends, you know. But yeah, no, as I was saying, this Rage Blade, Kraken Slayer, Ash, maybe even go for that second item, or third item, even Phantom Dancer, right? We'll be doing a whole hell of a lot to shred this on, well, more so than Ash does norm, right? So going for the Leandra build, like I say, on Azul, big base.
Yeah, so it's around like a minute 30 until the dragon spawns. So important for blue team tribals here to put up a vision and just try to like ambush someone even. But I think they're doing the right thing just by being in that area. Oh, Shago might be the victim.
Arrow goes wide, but the charge is true. Stunned up, taken down. That's a pretty nice pick.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter way too much here because he will spawn in time. I also have the teleport ready. But oh, they crucially didn't sweep that ward in the ramp. The pink one in the ramp. But they're looking for Baron.
Looking for Baron instead, yeah. Dragon's a little bit too late to come up to it. We'll go for the Baron, but also Reformed is in the area. Grey Fox is still alive. Sure, you have Fox on my end. Here comes the pop shot. It goes wide. Here comes the horn, blocked by the Ornn. Orangutango chunked out on the side, unable to join. And yeah, you're tanky, not so Reformed, but you're not tanky enough to match up to this Ash anymore. Taken down, it's a 3 vs 5. Massive unstoppable force, forcing 2 flashes. Gonna not quite pick up the kill, but Orangutango will not be involved in this fight. Here comes Jarvan. Doesn't manage to take away the Baron. There's the cheese wheel to pick up the kill. In the end, it's a 4 for 3 with purple going to Tribal.
Shut down.
Damn, everything fell right for Tribal. Wait for Glory making the big play. They're 1v2ing.
I wish we had replayed that cheese wheel. That was so funny.
It was so funny.
One last screw you. That was a massive set of plays coming there from Tribal. It sort of started off with not so Reformed, overextending, but massive plays on the flank from Azul, keeping Orangutango no matter if they out of the fight, and then Wave for Glory seeing the angle, finding that engagement off the back of it. They get Baron and the Soul.
Yeah, very important. The head of table was on point on the Smite game, able to take away the purple ramp. Um, and now, what they're gonna do with this is they have all the cards in their hands now. They probably gonna fix their ways, but there are a lot of turrets, a lot of tier 2 turrets, even tier 3 turret on the top lane, able to be taken. A lot of gold for them to take and also to break out the map.
A lot of gold. Actually, yeah, there's like a lot of damage. I mean, you don't have the best pushing power. Unfortunately, you can't play Mage. Zyra's gonna help out a lot with it. Harder into the Baron path. Still though, you're vulnerable stacking up the 40 because you don't have any clear side outside of Azure.
Yeah, they have to definitely draw people towards the side lane first, draw members of Tilly and the boys to the side lanes before attempting for the mid turret probably. They can use this time to do some vision. We can see some members around in the top side jungle. Just try to put down wards and see if there's any skirmish opportunities.
Yeah, just everyone sort of lobbying together. Shago wasn't going to die for the heal. Split push menace of Azos going to show on the wave. Wave, crash, sink, Turret low enough.
Yeah, finally the first turret falls for this Baron power play. Ash Arrow though.
Connect for the minion hero blocking the charm. One charge left on that ultimate from Azos. Won't get them in range to find that kill. Another massive arrow for Ibonsky, man. This guy has had an absolutely brilliant game. Like everyone on Tribal has playing really well, but kudos to my man. Lands another arrow, doesn't quite get the kill from it, but sheesh. Putting in the work on the Sash. I thought it was just a pick away, honestly. I didn't know it was so powerful pushing on it itself.
Yeah, and even Wave for Glory can just, oh no, the TP's coming in. Big flank by on.
But it's already an assassination on the Tilly. That's 2 dead already. The Orn's behind. It's too late to join the fight though. Yeah, he found something onto Ibonsky, but booted out by head of the table. The flank was just too long, and the trigger was pulled. A double kill over to head of the table, and it looks like we're going to be heading into game 3 of this series. Ornn, maybe the best performing member, will end up falling. Inhibitor taken, Nexus turret taken, the respawn time is just too long. The wave is there. I think they need to look for the end.
Yeah, they will be looking for the end. Tilly just respawned, but Plants and one member isn't able to defend the whole wave probably with a half a minion wave remaining. Actually, never mind. I cursed them.
Oh my god, executing a shutdown overcommittal there onto Tilly, ends up backfiring. Now there's going to be waiting game. Ruling, you're saying the one who you're the one who cursed this step, right? It doesn't matter. Ash finds that kill. Teleport is available. Bullet time to find none. The charm does end up going right. Rooting down onto Azov. Still trying to pressure to this end. Ibonsky charging forward, but no wave to support them.
Oh, Shago being sneaky.
Stun comes through, the burst is through, the charm goes through, and the Zhonya saves Azov! Ibonsky flashing for the hills, walking their way out still low, a double kill over to Orango Tango. Ibonsky, look at the Kaisi, look at the moves, go dodge out on this altar, shut down over a triple kill. In the end, Russ and Tilly and the boys make the base defense happen.
Ooh, both teams. A big fight there. Ransley was barely holding on to the game. Still one Nexus turret left, so it's not too bad for them actually. They are like around 6k in the hole and down Infernal Soul, but maybe they can still win. I'm not sure anymore.
Look at that gold lead across the map. 2,000 AD carry position, 3,000 in the jungle. Head of the table also having a really, really good game, right? I know I've been talking a lot about Zonsky, but head of the table, man. Despite going so heavily down the CS, and has been crucial on this poppy pick in this game, and I'm so excited for a game 3 if it does go there. It's also going to occur, so bless anyone. There's still an Elder Dragon, there's still a Baron to fight for. It looks to be in the hand of Rival.
Yeah, seems like Elder Dragon will be the... They're spawning around the same time, 30 seconds difference between Baron and Elder. I'm wondering what Tribal we think about. Will they go for the Baron, or will they just stay around for the Elder? Looks like they're walking around Baron. They're trying to set up for it, looks like.
I feel feel like blitzing the Baron on spawn when you're this far ahead, not bad strategy. Yeah. Sutton has already been started. Looks like it's going down to the Elder. 30 seconds left on the respawn. They pull out the Orb. The crap.
I am so confused. There must be a misclick.
That must be a misclick. Or maybe they just suspected that they were going to fight for the Elder. They didn't even know they were on Baron. And now they are in another mess.
They do have good positioning though,
Nice,
so might
triple knockup, not so full, but one still live. The arrow connects onto the Syndra, and that's going to be all she wrote. 2 dead already. The rest of Tribal say screw the Elder, but go for the Nexus.
Oh, that was looking so good. And to the head of the table, ejected 2 members from the fight. And now they should be looking for the end. Tribal taking 1 back in this best of 3 series.
Now it's even Stevens. After the first game, I think it was going to be a 2 and oh, I didn't like that wrong as well. Now, we're heading into game 3. Both of these teams looking to start their way through. Finally, Tribal are going to get that victory over Rassentilly and the boys. They don't even lose anyone on the base. 5-0. 1-1. Oh my lord.
What a
game.
What a game for Tribal. What a game. Not much to be actually a lot to be said. I was gonna say not
And that
much
was
to be said.
that was the Yablonski we were bloody promised, okay?
That was the
This
Yablonski
guy-
factor, yeah.
Oh my lord. When he gets a good matchup in bot lane, when he gets a bot lane, doesn't get completely camped out, doesn't play Zeri. See how much man.
It seems the whole Tribal team was on point. Yablonski was reacting right to the skill shots, using the flash on time, dealing out tons of damage. Head of the table was able to make the early plays. And the rest of the members, including Azoth, also did very well. Wait for Glory also did well in the end in those fights, crucial fights. So
WPGG
I feel like
WPGG to this Malphite. Yeah, he went down to the CS in a way.
better top wins.
And the top wins is what you type in chat there. But yeah, it did feel like there were a lot of overforces even from Rassentilly and the boys, perhaps showing a couple of cracks in armor. But before game 3, we're going to be heading to a quick break, but stay tuned because it's going to be a banger. Final game. It's Rassentilly and the boys up against Tribal. We'll catch you in just a couple of minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the stream for the final game of the night. We once again have Rasen, Tilly, and the boys Tribal with a surprise victory, breaking their 3-game loss streak against Rasen, Tilly, and the boys to bring us to a banger game 3. I, of course, am by Cookie, and cannot wait to get into this one. What do you think Rasen, Tilly, and the boys need to change heading into this game?
I think they should go to what they used to do instead of trying the say the Lethargic Misfortune. Just do what they did in first game. Try
Pick
to
the
get
Ash.
those. Yeah, take the Ash for sure. The Ash.
Yeah, you see, the thing is that Ash got picked. I think they were planning to go run.
Yeah, yeah. I think.
Maybe have to go for the 1-2.
Removing the Ash is a really good idea. I mean, either through a ban or just taking it. They can. I think otherwise, it's not. The top lane is definitely fine. Obviously, been winning the two games in laning phase. Maybe even if they want to think bigger, maybe for not so reform to try something maybe more bruisery, more carry champions in the top lane. Given that they already we already kind of know that he has the upper hand in the laning phase.
Considering that they're solo killing.
Yeah,
lane.
yeah.
Right, maybe
So
do something where you can properly use.
yeah, so that are some changes. Mid lane wise, I think stick with the I think Tristana, right? They were Shago was playing.
Yeah,
I
maybe prioritize.
yeah, I think Syndra was fine, but it wasn't that great in that game, especially with the Brom on the table.
I really hope this doesn't show Russ, Tilly, and the boys as a one-dimensional team. Got a couple of bans against the draft. Didn't even say it was like that great of a draft for Tribal, who are, I believe, once again on blue.
Yeah,
Tribal, who are once again on blue. Tribal are on red. So Tribal aren't on blue side now, so maybe that makes things a little bit.
Get a Jinx ban again, as per the games before. Taking away from.
As well.
Ooh, so yeah, well, also one of the bans from before. Does make sense. Just sticking to the prep and the Rengar. Not surprised. Just sticking to just basically banning what they already are banning.
As we saw, that having that Sion ban away was really, really important. There it is. Takes off the board once again. The Jack's taken off. We'll have to see though, not banning the Jinx as early this time. Is it something that's Russ and Tilly and the boys? Look, they've decided that Jinx being banned, not the issue. Ash banned away this time by Tribal. Smart call out there, getting rid of this power pick.
Yeah, if they can't have it, then the enemy can't have it as well. So avoiding an Ash first pick here for Rasenton and the boys. I think there will still be other options because I think Tribal was really coherent in the last game where they were really active in playmaking. So I expect Tribal to be picking other playmaking champions. They're more playmaking champions than Ash, at least coming out for Grey Fox.
Wow, that's something we haven't seen from Grey Fox before. I mean, it has looked for the Jarvan and looked for the Lilia as well, but at least it's like Jarvan on steroids. I'll have to. Can we get a confirmation to whether or that's an intentional? It doesn't look like there's anything else being said against it.
Oh my god!
R1 locked in. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, maybe as we said, this is the opportunity to look for something a little bit more punishing here for Rasen Tillian. But is Lee Sin slammed down as well? Elise Lee Sin jungle matchup. These junglers have been pivotal in both.
This is so spicy. Both Elise and Lee Sin, we all know that they are like the early game junglers. I think they will both be looking towards the bot lane because we know that the bot lane are the carries in this game. Bonsky for sure, a big carry for Tribal. So both teams will be looking. Oh, I like the Mordekaiser.
Ooh. That's one of the counter speaks into Malphite. I can just suck him into the death round. Now, of course, Malphite with the Unstoppable Force can dodge out from that. Not be CC'd.
Yeah, not the easiest timing, I say, for Malphite to dodge that one. But it can be done, but also very good matchup for Mordekaiser here. Should be a lot more punishing than the On against Malphite. Saya being picked up here.
Interesting. What the bot lane has been dropped down to second phase for half of bot lane's been dropped down. Sivir going to be the answer to Xayah. I like this a lot. Sivir can effectively outrange her in these team fights and can, most importantly, hold that spell shield for the pullback on the feathers, right? Being able to block that big burst of damage coming out from Xayah is absolutely massive if this Sivir does get in. I really like this counter pick. Ezreal works too.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Ezreal when they were hovering Sivir. Ezreal will be, I think, a more traditional pick into the Saya where you can poke Saya out of range from the feathers. So I think that makes sense, especially if Bonsky did play a few Ezreal games and is in meta, and it's probably game three. I mean, it's game three last game, so they're playing with something that they're really, really comfortable with. And I believe Ibonsky is comfortable with Ezreal.
I really like this heads up ban of the Braum, like Super Counter also. But I think Braum would do absolute numbers in this game with Ezreal, right? Being able to block out those Xayah feathers as well. Ari taken off the board. That's just the 2 second rotation picks taken off by Rassentillion boys as Taric is hovered here. That's not what I'd expect to see paired up with an Ezreal, but it's pretty good into Xayah, pretty good into Elise. I can see this being something.
Can me? Tarek Ezreal. I haven't seen. Yeah, it's locked in. I haven't seen this bot lane for quite a while. It can work, but I think it depends on how proficient are they, because Tarek is kind of a finicky support. You have to be you have to practice it quite a lot. So
you really have to call your shots with that also.
Yeah,
it's something that I always struggle with when I play. You need to know when you're engaging or when you're going to get engaged on. As Rel, I think, is a lot more traditional of the sport, something maybe I'd have liked to see picked up here by Tribal, and it is locked in by Rassentillion and the boys.
Yes, Rel indeed, a lot more traditional. I mean, when we say traditional, Rel only came to relevance in around, I think, the last half of season or so. But it does what
more statistically strong than since the rework.
Yeah,
Rel is just busted. I tell you this, she's been nerfed. I don't think
it's so annoying. Rel is such an annoying champion. It does a disruption job very, very well. And the last pick will be the LeBlanc.
LeBlanc blind in the mid lane. Dare I say, the most base thing to do would be for Ezreal pick an outright like outright carry. Kali though is really slamming your cards on the table. Nico would be a lot more safe. I think still pretty punished. LeBlanc. I'd like to see a Ziggs.
Yeah, I mean, actually, a lot of picks can do well into the LeBlanc as long as you know how to play against the LeBlanc. Oh my god!
Oh my god! It's T1. It's T1. The prep the counter pick for LeBlanc. We saw it hovered last game, didn't get locked in. But if there's one pick that can do very well into LeBlanc, is this Malzahar slammed on R5 here for Tribal, and that kind of changes a lot of things in the draft for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those really annoying picks where you just
a massive neutralizer for these short
carries. Yes, it definitely big neutralizer for sure.
You can't react to the ultimate with the Featherstorm coming out from Xayah, right? It's unreactable. It's instant. LeBlanc can't react to it either. If she dashes in, you get called out on the jungle. You are good as hosts. Man, you said Malzahar wasn't a good pick last game. I think he's significantly better.
Yeah, Malzahar is definitely good here. It's just I'm just disappointed because I see these Malphite Malzahar picks. It's like, am I in bronze or something? like come on.
Oh my god. Lee Sin, it's the actually this is such a bronze Zodiac coming out here from Red Side. Right, like I think Ezreal, like it's a high skill champion, but you see it a lot more commonly at the top or at the very bottom. Same as Lee Sin. But yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Red Side, Tribal. I kind of like what they got going on.
Yeah, I don't really.
The boys are a lot more execution.
Yeah, I don't really mind. I was thinking a Red Side last pick would be Lissandra, but they went for the Malzahar, which I think does similar jobs in a sense. They will still be looking for those plays, but Lee Sin is a lot more volatile in terms of but Poppy Gang is very predictable. Like you're gonna do mediocre damage, but a Lee Sin gang,
also point and click CC them.
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, yeah. So Lee Sin is a bit harder to pull off, but I'm looking forward to see Head of the Table continue to carry their team.
Yeah, look, Head on the Table had such a good game. I think that go for star points. This man, this is the perfect sort of game 5 draft. I can't wait to get into Summoner's Rift, but unfortunately, we're gonna game 5, game 3, whatever. It feels like 5 games of tension, but no, perfect sort of game 3 draft for both these teams. But we're gonna have to wait a little bit before we make it on Summoner's Rift. Gonna be heading to a quick break. Don't go anywhere in the deciding match. Rasentilli and the boys on blue, Tribal on red, fighting for a chance against Cosmic Transcendence. And we'll catch you in a couple of minutes, just after the break. Welcome onto the Rift, everyone. It's the final match of the day for real this time. Ras and Tilly and the boys on blue, Tribal on red. Best of 3, 1 and 1, and they're looking for a level 1 play.
30 seconds.
It wouldn't fire, spotted out by the spider.
Spider
But
keep-
they will
once
be able
again-
to put down some wards.
Yeah, getting this deep vision inside. I've really been enjoying watching these teams that put a level 1 play. First game, it was R, T, and the B looking for it on the bot side. Are going to get that ward down on the bot side blue buff. Well, but yeah, both these teams getting some information against these aggressive passing.
Yeah. A bit of a slight trait there.
Minions have spawned.
I'm wondering if... Oh, they actually cleared it.
Oh, really?
They cleared one of the wards, yeah.
But not the other. Still gonna have.
I'm wondering if Malphite, not Malphite, Mordekaiser got extra XP from that.
Oh, that's actually, yeah, you're correct. Really, really would have done if they cleared that.
Yeah.
Ward, if Grey Fox would let them hit it. Level 2 on that first wave could be pretty important.
It will be really annoying for Malphite.
Yeah, Malphite already gonna have a bit of a tough time on this one. Azul playing Malzahar, man, shouldn't end up dying early. Obviously has the passive shield, and level 6 gonna have that never grasp. Shaker's not gonna be able to do that. I'm also informed once again with the bush play, just like in game 1, putting down Way for Glory already down to
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. Not fun for both top and mid lane actually. Shago playing that mid lane early game quite well.
You see both these junglers starting on the top side now, passing down to the bot. I think looking to try and influence the lane first early is super important.
Yeah, I
Because
think.
once again, here and Wait Game can get that advantage, and they're gonna have a lot to save time. But Rel is so explosive, especially.
Yeah, as we were saying, both junglers will want to fight against each other and probably will just go for the bot lane and do that. And wait for glory. Really down on health now, but still have a 2 health bot, so nothing to worry about.
Interesting to opt for the Doran's Ring in this matchup as well. Getting really, really bladed around. Rather than saying. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Shago pops their distortion forward. Azul dash in, slow comes through, but that's not the real one. Flashing forward to stun up the clone. Head of the table, not quite it, but still Shago caught out. Kill will end up going over, even if it did look. Yeah.
Wow.
To head of the table, despite flashing to kill the LeBlanc clone. Shago mastered deception, not quite deceptive enough to make that way.
That Sonic wave was so good. I think head of the table might be carrying this game.
Oh, really, really? That's a bold prediction to make, but after last game, not an unreasonable one. 10, 3 and 10 at least on that one. Putting an absolutely majestic performance. Getting started like the first blood, I think, has gone over to head of the table in all 3 games. Not first blood. They did get that 2 kills, the 2 return kills in that trading spot fight. I think got first blood in the last game as well. And this one. Really, really able to put their mark on the map.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first blood kick. But on a champion like Lee Sin, that's what you want to do. You want to get those really, really early pressure down. Get early Dirk maybe, going for the Tharthi route maybe. Not really. I don't really know because for head of the table, like he can go for the usual Goldringer build, but he can also build a bit of lethality just to get those early.
I think also not so much. But between the two, not as much slow. But that's too much just to go for on the first. I don't even think the Goldring can. And she's got the iron side. I think that's going to be Goldring. I think.
Yeah, looks like it will be the traditional, more traditional one. We are still looking at top lane for around 5 minutes now.
It's kind of rude. So wait for Glory getting beaten up so damn bad. And also Reform doesn't have to flash on the turret. Has to go for it. So
Yeah, Grey Fox is top lane though.
Fox looking for a dive. Cocoon is available. Wait for Glory. Their time is running out. Wave is crashed in. Now is short. only a sliver of health remaining. Soon lands, the pullback is through. Grey Fox is repelled. He's died.
Oh, in...
On the side of that room, Dragon started up by the table, so I feel like Crossnap coming through using the first still not quite there for the kill for the Drake.
Oh, Great Fox going for round 2 maybe, but it will be a tough dive. Wave of Glory is quite high on health.
Yeah, fairly hard. Well, damage coming down won't be enough to kill, will be enough to punk out afterwards. So it's not quite as bad as the teleport die before back in. Meanwhile, head of the table, speaking of dying, gonna end up falling. Wow. That's an overcommittal there. Not respecting Shago after taking that dragon. Ends up giving that kill over to the
Yeah, that's not great news for Tribal. Great Fox still around top. They're still going for Wave of Glory. Have the ultimate ready though.
He ults away, stays alive, but Grey Fox and Mr. Reform are gonna get squeezed by that place. Massive advantage from
Yeah, good job for... No, sorry. Good job for Grey Fox going for the top lane, knowing how badly it was going for Wave of Glory, but head of table trying something, but only level 5.
Yeah, only level 5, no tick coming through, and with that Indomitable coming out from Not So Reformed, you can't let that kill. But level 6 hero for Azoth, perhaps looking to get some vision down for this Rift. Level 6, I think with Long Sin, level 6 match is really, really good, just because it's got quite good Sin queue.
Yes. Otherwise, the Rift is a little bit quiet, a bit quieter than previous games. A lot quieter than last game, actually. Last game we see Poppy head of table playing Poppy running around. This game a bit more conserved.
A little bit more conservative. I did get that. So yeah, not quite the same free gang. And not quite the same disgusting counter pick in the jungle as Poppy into Jarvan's does. I think for the first time, yes, pretty even jungle. Funnily enough, Poppy has been farming. Sorry, Lee Sin has been farming significantly. Now, of course, you can get some other common Lee Sin strategy, power farm to use that to like get your snowball rolling. We are gonna have to wait until head of the table does get that level 6 pass and see if he doesn't find anything successful. Good, throw some question marks.
Dragon will be spawning in around 2 minutes, so it might be a good time to just put down Vision around. Just make Vision rather than making play threat up, but they're looking with Shago now.
Here comes the ult, and there's the Sonic Blade. Counter Blade Machine, a flash dash out with that support. Just end up falling. Flash, no kick available, still no level 6 on the shoulder. Go move on the bot lane as the Grey Fox gets onto a wave again. Ibonski has the flash over the wall. Nothing in the mid lane, a kill in the bot lane. This early game is in Grass and Tilly and the boys' hands.
Yeah, very unfortunate for head of the table actually, not having that Dragon's Rage available in the last gank. It was just that little bit of damage that it was missing.
Just like that, just a little bit, not having that damage to off. Shago walks away in the bot lane. Massive. Catching out, wait again. No level 6 again for this Taric.
Yeah, looking at top lane, about to a big CS lead as we expected in this counter matchup. Just finishing the Rylai's, which is a common, well, the most usual Mordekaiser first item. Allow a lot of sticking power. It creates a lot more solo kill angles in the top lane there.
A lot more. It's so unfun to play against him, especially when the only thing he's got is some duties. A little bit of difference in caliber.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
Reformed gonna have that teleport as well if this break. Not gonna be available for Wave of Glory.
Yeah, seems that Wave of Glory is just opting to walk down to the dragon.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit dangerous considering that Nocto Reform top lanes can get such a free time knocking on those plates after that. We've got 2 already. And yeah, look, Wave Glory having to walk back up. Teleport available. It's really, I really don't think you can look to contest this if you are Rasen Tilly. Oh, sorry, if you are
Tribal.
Yes. So I got confused with the top sides. No, if you're tribal here, it's so difficult to contest.
Ooh, but looks like Grateful is just going for the Herald and allowing Tribal to take the Dragon, looks like.
Yeah, the Rift Herald trade for the Dragon. I guess it makes sense, but I wouldn't be giving over the 2 Dragon advantage to a team that doesn't necessarily need to get stuff done. Like, I understand if you think you're really, really strong around this third Dragon point, right, stop them getting that 12 point. Those people are really good for the sort of pokey Taric team comp that's coming out from Tribal here, right? So that's all they have to be really worried about. Dash over the wall, Shago goes forwards, kicks the clone! Dude, he keeps on getting pulled, miss time on that Unstoppable Forces. All means Wave for Glory ends up falling. Multiple disastrous plays around the map here for Tribal, just getting absolutely shafted everywhere across the board.
I think, to be fair to Head of the Table, I think he was slightly out of range of the real LeBlanc. He might be trying to kick the clone into the real one.
You know what? If he was, I respect that. Look, he's already made a mistake once. I can't assume he's gonna not make it twice. But yeah, as you can see, results all around the map here. Teleport not available. Oh, it's available for Explorer. Doesn't want to use it. Head of the table, not able to defend that top turret. Gonna go down without even using that Herald to at least and Mordekaiser after this next wave. I'm sure. Goldie is already 2,000.
Yeah, I think that's just all top lane. I mean, including the turret, all the plating golds. I would assume. I think
jungle will have a decent amount. Can I have a look at just so we can, if possible, thank you. Yeah, it's 500 in the jungle, but that's like a 2,500 lead in the top lane. Holy moly. Meanwhile, there's a fight on the bot side of the map. Here comes down the top range. Tilly went a little bit too hard, ends up getting taken down. Feathers fly for Orango Tango, but won't be able to make their way out of this one. Arcane Shift not available. Roots up under the Feathers. Wait again. There's the double distortion. The kill goes over to Shago, and the kiting is true. The heal was there. The Arcane Barrage doesn't quite find the kill.
Head of the table here for the dive, though.
Yeah, looking for it. And got no ward flash, missing on that Sonic resin. Oh no, Sonic Wave misses. Kill goes over the minions. It's a disaster on the bottom side of the map. Massive play from Orango Tango. Oh my lord.
What just happened? All they have to do is to wait for the wave to come in. Ayo, that is a disaster and a half.
Yeah, I remember seeing a 6-2 scoreline at another point during a previous game from this. So I think this was the score in the Rasen Tilly in the first game that these two faced up against each other. We all know how that went down. Now, obviously, it's a different sort of scenario, right? It's not just 2 kills in the jungle and nothing anywhere else. Killing the monster is pretty good, but once again, the side being head of the table, so that kick back follows up with that resonating strike. They'll be able to make their way out from the top. It turns out the straight, but now it's kind of Rasen Tilly's voice in the blender. Shago pulls back Lee Sin into 3, flashing away, reveal, shot down. Tilly not gonna end up falling either. No, the flash into the grass stops the disengage. It's 2 kills to Tribal, and surely a really strong setup on this upcoming trade.
Very flashy flavor ahead of the table, getting basing the entire team of Rasen Tilly into chasing the Lee Sin. Worked out for him. Orango Tango.
Ooh, just dodges that dazzling bleed. That's a Pokemon move. This is dazzling gem. But
Yeah,
if that move had hit, it would have been one very dead birdie. Next on Grateful Saver. Let me try and stop this feed out. I believe Ezreal has finished up their Trinity Force already. If you know these.
We didn't talk too much about the Ezreal Taric, but we did talk about it pre-game. Yes, the Trinity Force is done, and also the Quicksilver Sash, a very preemptive one.
If Monsky does like to play that QSS early, you think maybe you should have just gone Frenzy instead. Especially because the Malzahar's on your team, not on the enemy team. But you know what? Pretty good into not so reformed if you're just scared of getting caught out by the Discord. I think it's maybe a little bit too passive as a BF sword effectively down the drain. But you know, good respect now. So not very important. Head of the table though, getting a little bit caught out, not quite taken down but chunked out. Dragon is spawning up in that 12 seconds. Not so reformed doesn't have the teleport, Azov does if they want to try and challenge that. I do think Not so reformed could tear through turrets in the side lane, but it looks like it's just gonna be a 4v4. Way for Glory hanging out in the lane, not gonna find anything. Dragon not been started up yet.
Yeah, I think both teams are posturing for the fight because both teams want this dragon.
Both teams still want this dragon to either deny that soul stacking win condition or to get themselves on that soul point. I think a good idea is to keep an eye on the waves and how they go down. So you can see here Tribal between that wave in the mid lane. But look who's roaming. It's not so reformed. Look to try and pick out the jungler. A nice dash away keeps Head of the Table alive. And now the sort of caught out flank. River control goes over to Ras and Killian Boy. Teleport is still available though for Azov, holding onto it for the last second, but we've seen this issue with Ras and Killian Boy in the last game, not teleporting early enough because the dragon has been started up. I think they're just giving it.
Yeah, that's a
Interesting decision.
yeah. It was a lot of build up in the fight because both teams was posturing, but I think it wasn't a horrible call for Tribal. Azor is getting good tower damage in the top lane, getting all the farm efficiently farming basically, and I guess they might think it's a difficult fight with the Mordekaiser being that strong.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't necessarily know if I agree. Now that stuff is so much lower. We saw just how well Tribal were able to snowball their winning game state to Casper victory in the previous game, but I guess they just don't think their game states are winning enough. Backing
Yeah, it might be a missed opportunity, but we can revisit it at another point. And now it's like looks like Ras and the boys like looking for the. Oh, they're not looking for the Herald anymore. I thought they were looking for the Herald.
They're kind of just backing up here. One speed left solo. How is something like by Zaya?
Yeah, because oh, it's actually Tribal starting off the Herald. Will it get contested?
I think when you don't have your ADC or support, pick is there not needed to be used. Herald pick up for Tribal lineup. We'll have to see what they choose to drop that. I'd like to see maybe in the mid lane again. I don't think anything is necessary. Maybe just hold on to it for this next dragon. Once again, 20 out of 2 minutes. Can get you that instant priority, get you that travel damage, and also secure you.
I think Tribal has so much tools. I think what they're gonna do is try to use some of those tools. Like you see, all the ultimates are up now. They're gonna try to use some of those tools to make a play on someone. Looks like it will be the bot lane.
Quite land head of the table. Trying to kill Bouncy Gate onto Oregon. He just cancelled it! Cadriel! Get Cadriel on the scene! It doesn't matter! The Unstoppable Force picks up that kill zone. Shutdown goes over to the Malphite. That's 2 quick picks for Tribe.
Yeah, now the Herald is put down. Despite cancel, still going for fight.
Very brave here, dashing out, wasn't ready to hit. The burst not enough for eyes on the sliver of health. Ibonsky was here, but is taken down by the LeBlanc. Now it's the Reaping dashing forward, shut down, goes through, kicks back, followed up Sonic Wave. Oh my god, the burn comes through, a shutdown to Azov. In the end though, it's like a 3 for 3 in the turret, over to Tribal.
Damn, I did not expect so much heavy fighting for the first turret. Also, yeah, I think it was a bit of overcommitment seeing a teleport try, thinking it was isolated, but didn't realize the rest of the boys were coming.
Yeah, really didn't, and ends up getting I like that Shago was actually able to make their way in with that teleport. But yeah, just an overcommitment there. Ibonsky getting out of the several health and still ending up falling. I think it's still good for Tribal, but they had the advantage. They didn't need to force it quite so hard, and in the end it does.
Yeah, but what's done is done. Both teams look like they have to patch up a bit on Vision. Vision looking a bit dark here for both sides. Only some was scattered about. Looks like both supports will be refilling their Vision for a bit. There wouldn't be a fight until the Dragon, I believe. They will be probably saving their ultimate and hopefully is this Cosmic Radiance, the Taric ultimate?
I believe it is called.
Yeah, hopefully that will be up for the next fight, because if that doesn't come up for the Dragon fight, that will be a big problem for Tribal.
Dragon is forming up in a minute 10. I think it should be up 2/3 of the way through. So way to gain. Yeah, I think they used. They didn't have that. Not so I do want to point out, it's quite funny that it's probably really important. There comes the suppression. That's not all that high. Robert is still available for not so reform. Looking in hesitated in that death realm. Dragon's Rage is up and available, kicks away. Follows up, goes back in, Goldring to proc. The burn is enough. Silenced. Ticking down, the ghost will not save them, but meanwhile on the other side of the map, Baron has been started up. So what Ivonsky is here. Tries to contest.
Yeah, doesn't have enough DPS to finish.
They might have enough DPS to finish, but I don't know if they have enough DPS to make their way out. The stun comes through, massive Rel ultimate, the Magnus Sword to 3. The Baron is secure, but at what cost? Greyfox running for the hill, splash towards way to gain. Is gonna land a couple of stuns. Ivonsky trying to do damage to his teamfight, but it's been turned. There's the Sonic Wave. There's the execution of the AD carry. Jungler falls as well. A double kill to Ivonsky, and this will be an immediate rotation towards the Dragon.
Yeah, that's definitely a worth for Tribal. Even though losing the Baron, getting 4 members from our RTB, that and also means a 3rd Dragon for them. That's a win.
Certainly is. It certainly is. Baron only on 1 because Not So Reformed died. Well, that's what triggered. Shouldn't be happy about having that Baron. But probably say it's a negative gold ban hardly, and slightly negative gold when you consider they're giving a huge token soul point. Now the constant threat above their heads. Soul damage. Smite is there. Not So Reformed once again overcommitting. This is the trend of the previous game as well. Trying to fight 2v1. Maybe not overcommitting. Maybe committing the perfect amount. Damage is not there though. There's the Dragon's Rage, Not So Reformed, not so alive anymore. Ivonsky fed yet another kill. 6-2-2 on this episode.
Yeah, and also Reform really trying to make a play. They're trying to punish them for taking the Dragon, but not having the ultimate available there. Don't have a Death Realm available, so not able to pull off the 1v2.
Yeah, not able to. As of what's the flash? You guys got that tier 1 turret in the mid lane with that Baron buff. Some more consolation. Really nice mid game play here from Tribal. This game isn't like that much of a stomp head into. It's such a deadly team. Down only around 3k gold at this point. I'm pretty sure a lot less significant than
Yes, and especially we see a lot of gold actually going to Ivonsky. That just means that he's like, as per all the games that Tribal plays, Ivonsky is the key carry, and having that gold is so important for him to be able to carry these fights. Not to say other team members have not been doing well, as of having the most gold on the teams, doing well on the Malzahar. Other team members, even Wave for Glory is doing well, having those key ultimates and the disruption provided by Malphite. So they are quite playing as teams. So even though they're losing like 3k gold, I think they're winning.
Yeah, they're in a good position, I think. That gold advantage is exclusively in the top lane, and you've seen how difficult it is for Not So Reformed to make their way into the 5-star gold. If the Juggernaut can get their way in, can slap everyone, burn everyone down around them, yeah, that's a pretty good look. But obviously, Wave for Glory's items are a little bit cheaper as well, right? Shouldn't care that much about how tanky they are, as long as they can get that unstoppable force. I think this game is very much at parity, even maybe slightly favored for Tribal. As they look for another pick, there's the Suppressor. It doesn't matter how many items you have to limit to play the game. Head of the table into the Death Realm. Sonic Wave, Resonance followed up on the shield, comes out, dodging out on the smashes, forced to flash away, but takes down, smited away. Head on the table, despite using their flash for it, still manages to pick up the kill.
Yeah, that's very good use of suppression, so that what was the can't use that, but the cavalry has arrived.
Oh, Head of the table pieces out on that one. Azoth will end up falling 4 members connected. Shut down going over. They will lose out tier 2 in the mid lane for this, and a lot of damage from tier 2 in the bot lane as well. Maybe not that worth of trade. You do get the shutdown, but that's more map control you're losing out on.
Yeah, with Glory gets a lot of lone time to catch up on XP and CS, and also the turret damage. Not to mention the turret damage. Oh, wait for Gain taking a bit of damage, but should be able to walk out.
There's a lot of bursts, but there comes the Ultimate Radiance. No, actually, maybe they're going to be up for the next deck. That could be really, really huge. It opens the game. The rest of Ras and Video going after that. The burst down, a quick pick onto Wave for Glory. Really have to run for the hill.
Yeah, that's what RTB needed. They need to kind of, even though they're winning in gold, they need some openings because Tribal as a team, like when they're working together, are too strong. You kind of want to beat them piecemeal, especially with you having champions like LeBlanc, like Elise, Mordecai. So you do like these skirmishes rather than a full-on 5v5 team fight.
Alaska somehow forcing the 5v5 team fight in the next 1 minute and 10 seconds as that Drake will spawn. I mean, we saw last day where they were giving up Drake for Baron in the booth. Or maybe it's the other way around. But it's so point Drake Ocean Soul is so impactful for this sort of grindy team that's here for Tribal. So if they can get that one down, really, really important. Even if they lose a couple of moves for it, it's worth.
Ooh, looks like they don't have the Scuttle control though. Scuttle taken away by the RTB. This is the first step of stopping the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, priority in the mid lane, so I think it's the same amount of weight. Shaco getting a little bit pumped out, but still totally fine. You see here also Azoth pinned in this top lane, no vision available for Tribal. Looking for the pick. Wait for Glory. Down. Not so reformed is also following down. They have to be cleared in this mid lane. Looks
Yeah.
like a 5-5 whole shebang with the Drake born up. Which team will make the first move?
He's trying to clear out all the vision here ahead of the table. Not taking too much damage. And Dragon will be started right away.
1.1k, that's what's important here. 10k taking down. Teleport coming through here, not on the flank, but onto the safety of the wave. Azoth in the area as well. All 5 have collapsed. Let's see if Mordekaiser can wade their way in if they can. If Skip and Tilly can find a massive engage with that Magnus. You've got pull back onto Not So Reformed, trying to find a win. There's the Cosmic Radiance. That's one already burst down in the... Wait, took Azoth into the Cosmic Run, but still ended up stunned. Oh my god, the burst is disgusting from Xayah! That's so many dead layered damage from the mid lane and the AD carry. 4 will fall, and it's only Azoth running for the hills. I told you that Magnet Storm would be crucial as Tilly finds 4 and finds the fight.
What a turn of events. We all thought Tribal might have the upper hand in this fight, but no. It's 4-0 over to RTB, and now they're going to take the Baron.
And I'll tell you exactly why. Drell champions, all of them not just CC out. And Xayah so strong onto CC targets, right? Because everyone stacks up each other, you're having to get immense value. Hell, even LeBlanc with her big distortion, mimic distortion, chunk out all of the members of Tribal. They are going to be able to secure this Baron. It's going to go over to Ras and Tilly in the void, and they suddenly look a whole lot better in this game. 7k gold lead with the Ocean Soul, I think, would have been advantage to Tribal, but now they're definitely caught on the back foot.
Yes, they're definitely on the back foot. 3k, we would say, you know, it can be compensated if we just say it's all the top lane gold, but, you know, 7k, the gold lead is across the board. So you can see mid lane, I mean, it's not a big gold lead, but still a gold lead nonetheless.
Yeah, and the biggest gold leads obviously in that top lane and even in that jungle. I was a bit skeptical of this pick. Been buffing her ratios for quite some time. She's actually a pretty decent AP user at this point. That Spiderling is going to work. And obviously in the top lane, what more needs to be said? Not so reformed, absorbing so much pressure, still putting in work in this team fight, causing all 5 to collapse on him, forcing out to that Nevercross from Azoth. They ended up dying in that fight. Still, wow, what amazing work from Rasen in the top lane. I'm so glad this match is so back and forth in this final game, right? Because it looked like it was going to be a bit of a slump after that first match. It looked like Rasen and the boys had so much momentum, but kudos to Rivals. 7th seed, no one really expects them to even take a game off RT that these guys have, and they've come close to taking this one as well. Still all hangs in the balance. Dragon Soul not yet taken. Next chance in 2 minutes 50 seconds. I think that's when the next big fight.
Yeah, I agree as well. Now they have a first defender's Baron buff, and you can see Tilly trying to look for a flank, really eager to take down this tier 2 tower in the mid lane together with the team, and might be looking for an engage as well, threatening the engage. Also important rel pick.
Taking out the target. Teleport coming in here, I believe, from Wait for Glory, and wisely. Rasen Simeon boys back up, that's another cross onto the target. It's already immediately burst out. Massive kick onto 3. There's the Malfoy ult, and this time it's Tribal's turn to layer that AoE damage. Shutdown coming through. Defenders back get 1. It's actually a 1 for 2, so not that huge for Tribal, but they are able to find that pick. But still, look on top, it comes a 4 versus 5, but oh my lord, head of the table, we said he might be able to carry it, it looks like he will, but Orange still kiting out, stunned up, shut down in the 4v4.
What a play. It was such a risky play for head of the table, and the rest of Tribal to go for that. But they did, and they did take down the mid lane, and wants to take down Reformed as well.
Summed up in the background, there is no Dragon's Rage. It's actually kind of crucial, no way to buy time, no way to disengage. Gordon could keep him alive a little bit longer. Shut down this Titan on the top lane, looking for more weight again. Ticks down and burns the pullback to spell immune. Won't be enough to find Azoth. Still in a little bit of danger. You say Wait for Glory coming, but I don't even know if it's 2v1 to get the pull. Pull back, can't see the Never Grasp. Never mind. Azoth with the damage is able to secure that kill. And somehow there's only 2 kills in it at the 32-minute mark.
You can feel the adrenaline inside these players, all trying to make plays to prove, or not to prove, or just to help the team to win this crucial game 3 of the best of 3. And now the Dragons come out in 30 seconds, and both teams have to rush to prepare.
It's non-stop action here at the EAL. Both of these teams really, I think they've shown that they've earned their spots at playoffs, right? Both of them made some majestic plays. I mean, they're engaged in mid lane stuff of madness. That kick from head on the table, man. Head of the team, honestly. Not to discount what everyone else is doing, but man, Dragons on this jungler. Now with the Dragon spawning up in a meager 23 seconds, Greyfox, Hilly in the area. Shago maybe trying to head of the table, able to waltz their way out, but look, not show their health for somewhat off this drop. But positional advantage in favor of Rasen, Tilly and the boys. Shago, Orange, Tango. Oh, that's that. Adonsky, you are a brave soul, man. Just ease over the wall, somewhat blind, still able to get out.
Yeah, Ezreal doing the right thing, trying to poke down Rasen, Tilly and the boys before the fight. And Dragon's getting started, and both teams are just really close to each other.
Once again, it's 11k health, 10k. Dragon is burning down head of the table, and that's the way to go. Nice Dragon's Rage, not so reformed, not finding the engage. Can reset. Not quite.
Shaco looking for flank, but not being able to.
Hero of head of the table, dancing back and forth into the death realm, but because they're in the death realm, the Dragon is secured by Rasen, Tilly and the boys, but how will the fight go? That's a massive AoE, stun up, dragged back at the Magna Pool, but there's no pullback for Orango Tango on the feathers. On the backside, Shaco finds the mid laner. The support is dead as well. The only one left alive is Ibonskin. The teleports are coming in on the top side in these river fights. It's been all Rasen, Tilly, and the boys.
Yeah, and that is such a magnificent team fight by Raz and the boys. They will try to tear down the base of Tribal right now. Nostal Reform on the top lane and the rest of the members in the mid lane. And this will be at least 2 inhibs and maybe looking for a game ending. Teleport coming in as well.
Teleport coming in 20 seconds. If Monster's gonna hold on, I don't know if they can do it. They got the wave. Ultimate's not gonna be enough to clear it out. Nexus turret 1 will fall. Nexus turret 2 will surely follow. And despite a heroic effort from Tribal, they will be wiped off the map and they will be knocked out of playoffs. Congratulations to Rasen, Tilly, and the boys.
What a great gameplay by Raz and the boys, showcasing the teamfight prowess in the late game. Really, really steel nerves and wow, just I don't know what to say. What a great game.
This league, man. It's
Every single time. Oh, I'm actually sweating a little bit here. Got my action on. But congratulations, of course, to Raz and Tilly and the boys. Right, it's Tilly finding those monster in cages. Man, what a great series to watch! And if there's more EALs like that, I'm going to be here for every single playoff game. And a little birdie in my ear is telling me we might have an interview lined up. So we're going to head to a break for just a minute or two while we get them in the call, get everything set up. I've got to get all the cameras all looking nice. We'll catch you in just a sec. Don't go anywhere. I think we're going to get... I'd love to get Tilly or anyone from Raz and Tilly and the boys just come in and give us a great interview. But for now, we're just heading into break. Don't go anywhere. And thank you everyone for watching. Well, welcome back to the stream, everyone, and we are very fortunate to have the one and only Grey Fox join us for the interview. And first of all, I must say congratulations, both on your victory and for giving us such an entertaining series of games.
Thank you.
So, I guess the first question I want to ask is, were you guys nervous at any point? Right, because you guys were the favourites coming into this best of 3 series, of course, right? Raz and Tilly boys, you had the higher seed, you 2-0'd them in the regular season. After they took that first game, were there any nerves from the boys?
Maybe a bit after the second game because we drafted poorly. They were in a, I think, easy matchup in the game, and we couldn't make anything, and we were a bit like frustrated because of that.
Mhm.
But after that, we said, "Don't worry, we can make it. Just play better." We saw in the first two games that our top was like always ahead of the other guy, and we tried to push with Amor de Kaiser and analyze for the early game,
Mhm.
and then pays off because after that we had a really big Mordekaiser.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely massive. I mean, I personally, I give my MVP of the series to Topside as well. I think that was obviously an incredible performance from all of you, but man, was that top lane some impressive stuff in that top lane. What do you think of your next round opponent? Because I mean, you're coming up against Cosmic Transcendence, right? Who are a very, very strong team. You know, these guys fighting only pills for position 1 in Group B. And I mean, this time it's you guys who I think are going to be the underdogs. Do you have anything to say to them, or do you have any thoughts on Cosmic Transcendence in general?
Yeah, I know that they are really, really strong, and I think we have just to try to make something happen. We know it's a bit hard because like our team name is Rasen Till in the Boys, and Rasen isn't here and will be not here even in the quarterfinals. So we are playing like with a substitute, and we are trying our best to make something happen. But me and Rasen are like the shot callers in the games, and
Mhm.
in these games we like lacked of that. We were a bit in some times in the games we were like what we gonna do because we had our ADC. So
Mhm.
we will try to make something happen, and we know that they are pretty good. I never played against them, but I saw the last game in rounds versus only pins, so I know that they are a pretty strong team.
Mhm. Well, if you're not gonna have Rasen until semi-finals, I guess you've just got to make it to the semi-finals then. Last question, I guess. The next match we've got coming up, I believe, is. Hold on, let me double check. I believe it's. Yes, it is. Peconomet. Actually, is it Pecon? It's. Oh my god! Look at me, Port. Yeah, Peconometrics versus ELZ Elements. Which which of those two teams do you predict to take the win? Or have you been
Uh,
were you able to watch any of their games, and do you have anything
yeah,
for either of those teams?
I've played against all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure that Element's gonna win the series, and I have to cheer for them because they are Italians too. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you so very much for joining us, Grey Fox. Unless you have any other questions, Cookie.
No, that will be all.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Grey Fox, and thank you so very much, everyone on the stream, for joining us as well. Just as a reminder, as said, we've got Elements against Peconometros coming up tomorrow. I want to say either way, very very shortly, but. Thank you so very much, everyone, for watching and making this such an entertaining series. Everyone in chat, I love you all, as always. But that's going to be all from us tonight. We'll catch you when we catch you. Signing out. I've been Casual Cutie.
And I'm Cookie.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.